Sine wave sweep 32 seconds. 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz at 2 kilohertz per second.
Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Only a Carpathian would come back to life now and choose New York. Tasty pick. Bonehead.
We were every bit the force. We live, we breathe, we sweat, we paid the price to be the best. Never been about the boys in the office. The boys that have gone out there night in and night out, doing everything they could to be the very best at what they chose to do in their life. Those boys are here tonight.
Well, I must have been away too long because my feelings are dead. I feel no remorse.
I only am who I am because I was born that way. I have a gift, and I am trying to not be selfish about it, but to use it.
My job consists of basically masking my contempt for the assholes in charge. And at least once a day, retiring to the men's room so I can jerk off while I fantasize about a life that doesn't so closely resemble hell.
It's my house, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Grab a dog. I choke him, and I kick the shit out of him. And I all day long, I put up a dog's ass. Just bang, bang, bang up his ass. That's my pleasure.
Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
Sometimes shit happens. Someone has to deal with it. And who are you going to call?
Oh, you guys like to tell jokes and giggle and kid around, huh? Giggling like a bunch of young boys with a school gun. Well, let me tell a joke.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi. Papa was a copper and mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer. Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than gold. What in the world does your company take me for? Black bandana, sweet Louisiana, robbing on a bank in the state of Indiana. She's a runner, rebel and a stunner. On the mirror way saying, baby, what you gonna? Looking down the barrel of a hot metal 45. Just another way to survive. California, rest in peace. Simultaneous release. California, show your teeth. She's my priestess from your trees. Yeah. been a fighter. Should have seen it coming when it got a little brighter. With a name like day in California, day was gonna come when I was gonna moan ya. A little loaded, she was stealing another breath. I love my baby to death. Animator, 1 for the now and 11 for the later. Never made it up to Minnesota. North Dakota man with a gun for the quota. Down in the Badlands, she was saving the best for last. It only hurts when I laugh. Gone too fast. California, rest in peace.
It's the Ron and Fez show. That's the new Chili Peppers from the album. Every song we sing has to have the word California in it at some point. I'm Ron, there's Fez.
Hiya, buddies.
Black girl in the hizzy today.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Did you hear that big... He had to wet his lips first.
He gets a little dried out, our Earl.
I noticed that.
It's really warm in here.
And there's no excuse. And coming up later... I believe it'll be the comedy stylings of Eastside Dave and Roberto, who seem to be the brand new craze. All right, Ron and Fez show, beautiful day, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I had another one of those moments today where I'm coming in at the last minute and Anthony's leaving just as quickly as he can. We were becoming like those, what was that cartoon? It was like a dog and a coyote or something, Fez?
Yeah, it was like one of the Warner Brothers cartoons where it's, good morning, Ralph.
They used to play off of the Roadrunner cartoon. It was like they would open for Roadrunner. But basically one guy's checking in and the other guy's checking out. I think we both like our jobs, but we don't want to be here an extra second.
I noticed that I saw Anthony leaving today and just whistling out the door.
Yeah. You know what? As long as, anytime, like if you have a show, if you're there a minute later, it's like you're working for nothing. You should really be there for just the time that you're on.
It's always nice to see Anthony just give the big wave as the rest of the O&A gang, they're in the bullpen, they're meeting about the next day's show, and you just see the big overall wave. Not the individual goodbye, it's just the overall wave.
Just for everybody, yeah. And that's how I feel, about Earl and Eastside. It's not that I don't like them. I just want to be paid to see them. And any moment that I'm looking at those guys that I'm not getting money, I feel like I'm being ripped off.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah.
Pay me to look at those guys, and that includes Roberto.
And plus, Fez, I have my other interests, which are, walking around and smoking. So I don't, I want to stay with my hobbies as well.
What you have to do is learn to turn those hobbies into money-making propositions.
So you're an early in, late leaver, right?
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Dave is way early in, way late leaving. Earl is kind of late in, but extremely ridiculous late leaving.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
All right, in terms of time, who puts in the most time? Earl?
It's not even an issue of debate. I put in way too many hours in.
All right, and then after you is Dave, of course, right?
Yes, Dave. He's pretty much with me like well into the afternoon.
Well into the afternoon. And then Fez he gets here before me, leaves after me, but really we don't know other than that. He may be just showboating for me and leave 5 minutes later. No one knows.
When is Ron going to leave so I can get out of here? Has he turned the corner yet on the curb so I can go?
I don't know if you know this or not, Fez, but you really can come and go as you please. And look at Wiki, he's never here at all. So let's face it. It really doesn't matter. We have the kind of job, nothing matters, and that's the beauty of it.
So by Wiki standards, we're all workaholics.
Yeah.
We got that going for us.
Well, we go by, I think, what gets on the air. And if you prepare but then have nothing on the air, what are you fucking doing? What are you really doing then? Here is Peter. Peter, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I just picture Anthony like Fred Flintstone in the beginning of the Flintstones when he slides down dinosaur's back.
It really is like he's doing a very fast slide down, and a lot of times I'm running in because I'm late, and we almost bump into each other. And a lot of times you'll see a lot of the O&A kids, the producers and interns, down on the street smoking. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I know I got to be well into the song right now. All right, Ron and Fez show, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Fez, I know this Katie Couric is a big story for you. And now you've got Elizabeth in trouble, right?
Yeah, because Meredith Vieira from The View on ABC going to replace Katie Couric on the Today Show.
Uh-huh.
So now it looks like Elizabeth Hasselbeck may be out if they bring in Patricia Heaton to replace Meredith on The View.
All right, let's go through all the whole domino scenario. First, Dan Rather leaves, right?
Exactly. That's how it all starts.
So that opens up a spot at CBS. So now over at NBC, they go after Katie Couric. They get her from NBC.
To put her in Dan Rather's anchor chair. Got it.
NBC has an opening, so they go to ABC.
Yep, and they raid The View and take Meredith Vieira.
So now there is an opening over at The View on ABC.
Yeah, so now the ball is in ABC's court. They have to fill a spot.
They go back to CBS and take Patricia Heaton.
Where this has all started, Patricia Heaton, of course, the wife on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now, this leaves a problem because now you would have two Republicans on a woman's show. So normally they use the Republican role almost as the minority, since more women, I guess, are liberal, right? So now they're going, all right, so what are we going to do with Elizabeth? Hey, wait, she doesn't serve any purpose. Let's go over to the Fuse and get a Latin girl, since we see so many Mexicans in the street.
So now The View looking at Fuse's Marianela Perea, who may come
I never even heard of before.
Yeah, me neither. But now all of a sudden she's in play in this big domino effect of changing anchors for these talk shows.
She's a VJ.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
She brings that to the table. Also, they're hoping the Latino viewership with her.
Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't the Latinos show up just as quick as they can? Or Latinas, I guess she's thereafter.
Oh, yeah, that would be more correct.
Yeah, no Spanish guys are going to sit there and watch.
More gender correct. So, also rumored for The View, Connie Chung coming in to take that Meredith Vieira spot.
From Wang Chung, the band in the 80s that everybody loved.
And hopefully bringing in that Chinese-American viewership.
Which we need.
Exactly.
So who would she boot out?
She probably wouldn't, unless they want to, just get rid of Hasselbeck and keep playing this Latina card.
Yeah.
Hasselbeck may still be out no matter who ends up in the Vieira spot.
Why don't we do this? Since Star Jones lost so much weight, why don't we go after Mandingo, who just got voted off American Idol from Fox, because we need somebody fat and black in there.
That's Mandisa. And she might be perfect, because she could also perform if they ever had to. If they ever had to throw it to her for a song and dance.
See, that's the thing. Talent could hold you back from that show. The last thing you want to come in with is talent.
So another also rumored to be taking Meredith's spot is Soledad O'Brien.
What's her background?
She was...
she's Spanish too, though?
She's like Spanish and Irish, I guess, with the O'Brien part of it.
Yeah, well, you say that. I guarantee you, she's not going to be... That would be considered Black Irish.
Oh, okay.
From when the Spanish Armada crashed into Ireland, and then they got out and banged all those Irish chicks.
So she's been dancing around cable news. She was on MSNBC, she did CNN, and then she was also hosting the Saturday morning Today Show, I think, for a while.
You know what? You think this might be a good chance just to blow everybody out of there? Get rid of Joy, get rid of Star, start fresh.
That might be the way to go. Let Barbara Walters put together a new dream team.
Right.
And it's a whole new view. Look, it's a different view.
Right. Like with the Lakers, where you're suddenly like, well, we won our championships, but nobody's getting any younger. Let's try to start it and work this thing around Kobe.
It's a change of view, a change of scenery on the View.
Yeah. Here's Casper. Casper, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Casper.
Hey, what's up? What does Barbara Walters bring in, the dead demographic or what?
Well, she brings in the lispers, which is, yeah. Yeah, she's there for the elderly. She likes to say, in my day.
Yeah, she's there for anyone. She's there to give it any sort of credibility whatsoever.
Well, now, by the time they're done with this, Meredith will be back to fill in that Barbara thing one day, because she's picked up the Today Show gimmick.
And she'll end up being the granny girl that they have to have on the staff.
Well, she's almost there now, God bless her. She probably could be a grandmother if she needed to be. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. The other big rumor going around, Fez, is a new Wonder Woman.
Yeah, new Wonder Woman movie, and just all kinds of names being thrown about to see who's going to star as the Amazing Amazon.
First of all, is there any other name but Linda Carter? Are we acting like, Earl, whenever we say Mandisa, you need to play Fat and Black, too, so let's get that out of the way.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Don't sir me. Just play it.
Okay. Sorry.
Now. You.
Fat and black, baby got back. Mandisa got a big black ass.
Fat and black, we got back.
All right, that's only because we forgot that. And thank you for everybody who emailed us here at ronandfez@AOL.com. So whenever we say Mandingo, Fat and Black. All right, I messed up. I shouldn't even have did it. Now I need to say the M word.
Fat and black, baby got back. Mandisa got a big black ass.
Fat and black, we got back.
All right, there we go. All right, so whenever I say the M word, boom, you're ready with Fat and Black from Paranoid. So they don't want to use Linda Carter.
They don't want to use Linda Carter. They're thinking Linda Carter too long in the tooth at this point.
In the tooth? What about Nell Carter? Is that a possibility, or is that out the door?
She's lost weight for the part since she died.
Yeah.
But still not quite right for it.
Clarence Carter, does that come up at all? He's stroking.
Not gonna work.
All right, who are they looking at, Fez? Because you need a big, strong woman.
Yeah, I've heard Kim Basinger brought up for this.
I'm talking about long in the tooth. You might as well bring in Linda Carter.
Yeah, I've heard Jessica Biel's brought up for this. I think she was the bad daughter on Seventh Heaven.
Oh, she's more than that, though. She's really a big movie star now, after Blade.
Right.
She was the big hero in Blade, and apparently all the young men like her. Yeah, she's a real strong possibility. Although, I never understood a guy who liked the Wonder Woman franchise, or brand, if you would. I just never got it.
Let's see. Lindsay Lohan was, a couple weeks ago, demanding the part. I just don't think that works whatsoever. It doesn't look it.
Tell me the truth. Does the whole premise work? You're a woman warrior with a lasso that makes people tell the truth in an invisible plane. I don't see how it works for anybody.
For a superhero that's got, like, superhuman strength and stuff, she also has an awful lot of gadgets. She might as well have a utility belt on her between the magic tiara, magic bracelets, and magic lasso.
What's the tiara do for you?
The tiara, she can end up pulling that thing off and throwing it like a boomerang.
All right, so it's a frisbee.
Yeah. For the bracelets, they're deflecting bullets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've also heard of Jennifer Garner brought up for this.
Yeah, I guess, I'm guessing any woman who's shown that they can jump and run and punch would probably, be up for that.
I just don't like it when, as the same actor, actress, whatever, plays more than one superhero. If she's gonna be Elektra, then that was her comic book choice. She shouldn't get to be Wonder Woman, too.
But you're acting like Robert De Niro can only do one mafia movie, Fez. Or John Wayne can only do one cowboy part. You're out there. This is what you do. And some of these women, they're just superheroes. That's all they can pull off. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I got the next Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Brooke Hogan. Who else could it be?
Brooke Hogan's got the size, Fezzy. We darken the hair. If she's got her father's acting chops, and let's all really cross our fingers that she's the next Rip'em, then she would be perfect for this.
She actually could look the part once you squeeze her into the suit.
Here's Murray, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddy,
Hey,
how's
buddy.
it going?
Yeah.
Are they going to go with the granny panty look, or how are they going to make that look
G-string.
more,
They decide they're going to go with a G-string and have her wear it backwards. So it's just the string piercing the lips, just slightly. It's going to be fantastic. Don, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. That's great. Uma Thurman, she's the next Wonder Woman.
Uma Thurman, I think you got to be a little younger coming into this thing, Fez. I think you got to be late 20s in case you can get 3 films out of it.
Yeah, I think you also have to have kind of an exotic look to you because she's from Paradise Island. It's not like there's some American that was Wonder Woman.
You darken the hair and everybody's happy. Linda Carter was Miss America, Fez, and then they made her Wonder Woman, and nobody was screaming she looks nothing like Wonder Woman. All you've got to have is dark hair.
I think you got to kind of have a looking like you just got off the boat feel about you.
Or the invisible plane. Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. It's got to be Xena, Warrior Princess, Lucy Lawless.
Wow, what a great idea. Wait, I just found a calendar, and Lucy Lawless is 100.
Who left that calendar in here?
Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, you got to go with Tom Cruise on this one.
I have no problems with Tom Cruise pulling this off. He's short, but other than that, perfect. Hey, Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yay, how you doing? How about China, the wrestler?
China, I'll throw my tear at you and you'll be fine. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
I think Jennifer Connelly could be a really good Wonder Woman. She's got the body.
No, let me ask you the truth, Mike. No matter who Wonder Woman is, do you see yourself going to this film?
Probably not.
Yeah, I can't understand why a guy would show up at Wonder Woman. I just don't understand how it works for you.
I think I would definitely go see this one.
Mm-hmm. I said a guy. You've got to listen, Fez, when I'm talking. I'm talking about men going to see this film. Obviously, you're going to be there.
Opening day.
Sure you were. You went to Ice Age 2 opening day. These are the type of things that you like. Adam, you're on Ron and Fez.
How about the beautiful Carmen Electra?
Now, are we just talking about chicks that we like to bang, or are we trying to cast a film? Fez, she's little, but she does have that exotic look that you're looking for. By exotic, Fez means non-white. So Earl has an exotic look to Fez.
He looks very exotic to me. Yeah, I think you gotta be a tall, statuesque woman too to play this part.
Like Linda Carter.
Yes.
She's 5'2", Fezzy. She's 5'2" and was Miss America. Here's Rob. Rob, you're on Ron and Fez.
In my opinion, there's no one better than the recently divorced Jessica Simpson.
Well, she proves she's a great actress. I still haven't watched her Dukes of Hazzard. And I know she says she wants to play every part from the 70s that played on TV for free, she now wants us to spend $10 and go to the movies for. What about her, Fez?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know I mentioned the thing of just off the boat, but just off the turnip truck, that doesn't work for me.
But remember when Wonder Woman had a little sister? Then Jessica could use her little sister.
Ashley Simpson is Wonder Girl.
Is that what the girl's name was?
Yeah, she was Wonder Girl.
Who Deborah Winger, the great Deborah Winger, played that part on TV.
You get Ashley Simpson in that, it's going to be Wonderbeak with that schnoz of hers.
I don't know. I put Wonder Woman out there with Aquaman as just completely unbelievable. Not that there's really a believable superhero, but I just don't like when they fuck with the Earth thing. Like, I understand that, somebody could get powers from, some kind of nuclear waste or whatever. I never liked the idea that there was a hidden land under the sea or some island that we couldn't find. That goes into King Kong bullshit. I got no time for that. And just because she's on this invisible island, right? And she's living like an animal there, basically, right?
Sure.
Like a native woman.
Right.
How'd she come up with the invisible jet? These fucking people, they look like they haven't invented shoes yet they came up with an invisible jet.
That's weird, because, according to the story, the comic book, when she was chosen to be Wonder Woman...
By who? The gods?
By the gods and her mother. She just all of a sudden got handed all this stuff. No one was they weren't all running around wearing Wonder Woman costumes. This just kind of got handed to her. This one piece.
And did they act like they had no men there, or men on that island were housewives?
No men.
So how did they end up with little Wonder people?
Wonder Woman, she was created out of clay.
See, I can't fucking go to a movie and watch this crazy thing. She's a mud person. She's a mud woman.
Yeah, her mother had no children of her own. I don't know how the other Amazons did it. So she built her out of clay and the gods brought her to life. She's basically like if Pinocchio had tits and a magic lasso.
I'm going to go home a fucking piece of clay and see what happens.
One day I'll be a real girl.
So really, you could cheat on her, with her, and then just tell your wife, I was fucking mud. Let's not make a big deal out of this.
Yeah, it's basically a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Here's, I won't watch, and now I no longer care. I hated the whole premise until you got into this, she's made of mud. Now I'm fucking furious. Now, literally, I want to start and go to comic book stands and knock them over. Comic book stands, like it's 1954. And Jimmy Olsen's going to be selling them on the street corner.
Her mother...
What am I saying, Earl? Stop me. Cut my mic off when you hear me talking crazy.
Her mother on Paradise Island took a ceramics class, and that's how we got Wonder Woman. She's pottery, that's what that girl is.
Now, I never understood the invisible jet because you can still see her, right, sitting there?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So it looks like I see a woman sitting and flying across the sky. Now, the other thing is, how does she get the landing permission? How is she able to gate up at any point?
Apparently, she puts this thing down wherever she wants to because it's invisible and no one sees it coming.
Yeah, but you still have to have a runway.
Yeah, I don't know how she's pulling that off.
So if she's on a runway, another plane's going to come into that runway at one point, be taxiing around, and slam into an invisible jet. Another thing, fuel. How does she get fuel for it?
You would think you would see, if she was flying across the sky, you would see her, like you said, in a seated position, and then just tons of fuel just sloshing around behind her in the tank.
Yeah, why wouldn't everything be invisible? If they could come up with, why wouldn't she be invisible? She's sitting there.
Yeah, she needs to be, there needs to be some sort of cloaking device. But anytime we saw her in the invisible jet, we saw her sitting there.
All right, 866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. To me, this is as dumb as the Batmobile, which was also the dumbest thing ever. Because you could never park it properly. And B, how are you going to be cruising around town? Imagine now you're like, oh, I've got to get all the way downtown. I'll jump in my Batmobile. You ain't fucking going anywhere in this town. It's gridlock.
I always liked the Batmobile. I always thought the Batmobile was great.
It's not even invisible. That's my main problem with the Batmobile. You can be tracked without any problems at all. Jacob, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what about Mandisa for Wonder Woman?
No, we can't use Mandisa.
Fat and black, baby got back. Mandisa got a big black ass.
Fat and black, we got back.
Oh, you gotta stay on that, Earl. I notice you're half a beat off today. For all the hours you say that you're putting in, it's now's the game.
I will be in the game from now on.
You know when Mickey Mantle used to show up to the game? Last second. Then he'd hit 2 dingers and go out and get drunk. That's what I'm looking for, Fez. I'm looking for somebody who could do it on the air. Here is Tony. Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I heard that Wonder Woman was really an immigrant. That she was coming over here on a ship, and her ship ended up going to that island. That's how she got her superpowers.
So you're saying she wasn't even a natural Amazon?
Nah, she was an immigrant.
She was like a European, and something happened.
Like a shipwreck, and she washed up on Paradise Island.
All right, now, Fezzy, how do you get from shipwreck to somebody made out of mud?
Because that guy is wrong. She was made out of clay.
Clay Aiken, maybe. Her real father. Which would be a perfect tie-in for the film. Randy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Clay Aiken, did you just say Mandisa?
No.
I think that the invisible jet runs on titty power.
Doesn't run on titty power.
Fat and black, baby got back. Mandisa got a big black ass.
Fat and black, we got back.
That's stupid. He's claiming now, Fez, that the invisible jet runs on titty power. Any chance of this at all? Or
I've never heard that, and I've read a lot of comic books in my day.
Uh-huh.
And I've never heard the term titty power come up.
Why not? Seems like it would work. She did used to stick the titties out quite a bit on the TV show.
Oh, yeah, that superhero costume of hers was basically something out of a Madonna show.
No, when I was a kid, I would never read Wonder Woman comics. You know why?
Why?
I didn't want to be gay.
Oh.
I just thought that's how you catch it. Here's Fred. Fred, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning.
Yeah.
How would you like to be parked in Manhattan behind that parked Batmobile and he starts up his engine and that roaring flame melts the whole front of your brand new fucking ride?
I know. I'm not getting it all. And I don't know, I guess he thinks he's going to come out of some cave in Westchester County, and no one's going to be able to pick up on it. They would find out where he lived within seconds. Batman is almost as stupid as Wonder Woman.
Oh, Batman's the best.
In terms of believability.
Batman's believable because he's got no superpowers whatsoever. Everything's mind power, and every gadget he had to invent.
Right, Fez, but the Batmobile, is that ever not going to be spotted immediately?
The Batmobile, yeah, would have trouble, especially with GPS and that sort of thing.
Here's Alan, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah.
The only way a real man sees this movie is if the rest of the Justice League is in it.
That would not be a bad idea, just to make a Justice League movie, because basically they've done that on the other side with Wolverine and them. That's basically just a Earth 2 Justice League.
Yeah, it's like, for some reason, the Justice League movie seems like impossible to make. Because, like, before the Superman movie finally got going, that's coming out this summer, they talked about doing a Batman-Superman movie, where they're together, and it's like, that couldn't come together.
Well, somebody told me that they have this Superman movie clocked in at it actually costs $350 million. And they're not paying the actors shit. Because, they got this guy off the street. It's basically American Idol for a Superman character. So what are they spending all the money on? Kryptonite?
I guess to make him look like he's really flying. I guess that's all going towards wires.
They've done that in 54. 54 they knew what they were doing with Reeves. That looked perfect. Just do the same exact technology.
So it's like, that's why we're not going to get a Justice League movie, because it's costing $300 million a superhero to do one.
Well, I don't think it's going to cost that much extra for some of them. I think you can get the Atom for probably about $2 million.
Just a really short guy.
Here's Tom. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I wonder if this is equal opportunity superhero, and you know what, Ron, Fez, I wonder if she sucks dick real hard.
What's that, Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to get into that whole thing of how Wonder Woman gives oral, but I'll just quickly say I would be very suspect if I was having a relationship with her and I was getting head. I have a feeling I end up getting a wonder finger in the ass. Something about her keeps me from trusting.
She's a very dominant person, this Wonder Woman. But, you know, I don't think they ever went through anything like they did with Superman, where, like, Wonder Woman doesn't know her own strength, and she's, like, crushing things.
Wonder Woman never had people sitting around discussing her. I can't imagine, other than lesbian girls, who was a big fan of Wonder Woman. Earl, were you?
Never.
Who did you like? Whatever black superhero you had?
No, I was actually more of a Batman guy.
Well, exactly. Thank you. You guys dressed the same.
The Dark Knight.
Sure.
There was one thing I always questioned, like all the stuff he had built, like the bat plane and all that stuff. Wouldn't somebody who was part of the construction say, hey, wait a minute, this Wayne guy keeps building all these planes and everything?
I don't know what we're doing down there. We had to put in a nuclear generator underneath in the cave under his house. It's just, maybe Batman is the all-time stupidest and least able to believe. And that new Christian Bale thing, ugh.
I thought that was great. That was the best Batman movie yet.
Yes, it probably was. It probably was. And still, you can't believe it for a second. Hey, Jesse, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
DC Comics is completely horrible. Superman is probably the worst one. How can you not tell that Superman is Clark Kent? All he does is take off his glasses and throw on a tight spandex suit.
Is he somehow hypnotizing people, Fez, so they can't figure it out?
Yeah, I've heard that he does, like, super hypnotism and, like, a lot of other super abilities, like super slouching to make himself appear shorter than Superman when he's Clark Kent.
All right, stand up and show me how you would super slouch.
Like Superman stands real tall with his chest out, and then Clark can just kind of just... You know, you see my knees bent, but you wouldn't see it on Clark Kent because he's using super abilities to slouch.
Excuse me, how did you get in the studio? Who are you?
It's me, Fez.
Oh.
I'm standing back up again.
Oh, now I get it.
It's all in the posture, super posture.
Yeah, I don't know. Superman, Batman, they don't work for me either.
What about, like, Green Lantern?
No. That's really stupid. I have a ring that makes a fist come out of it. It's insane.
It's all based on his willpower.
I don't get it. Now, we've talked about Aquaman before. What does he eat? Does he eat fish? Or is it just kelp? Fresh kelp?
Oh, I think he just sticks to the vegetarian part of the seafood diet.
This time? That's what you're thinking?
Yes.
Yeah, because you flipped again.
Oh.
Here is Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Speaking of stupid planes, that X-Men thing where it rises out of the ground, it's supposed to be up in Connecticut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Connecticut. It's in the Westchester area. It's not like the Bridgeport part of Connecticut.
Coming out of the ground. This big-ass jet rising from the basketball court. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I know. They act like we don't have satellites. We would be able to track these fuckers instantly. And you ever notice this with all the stuff that Batman ever did for Gotham? No one ever called on him for any federal type of things. No one ever got a hold of him for saying, all right, there's some federal crimes we need you to look into.
No, it was never because his detective skills were so superior to everyone else's, and yet they never called him in on any sort of, hey, where's Eric Rudolph type case.
There's a serial killer, there's a sniper. Nobody ever bothers with that with him. Here's Tom. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah.
I got the only reason guys would go and see the Wonder Woman movie. Superhero camel toe.
Do you think they'll do the camel toe, Fez?
Yeah, I think that'll be in there.
Particularly if they're going to do it in a G-string wearing it backwards this year.
That's a skimpy costume.
Plenty for me. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, Ron, if they did make a Justice League movie, would you prefer to have Jon Stewart, the Black Green Lantern, or Hal Jordan, the White Green Lantern?
Why not give the black guy something? Earl, which one did you prefer?
Black guy.
Sure.
Definitely.
Let me check with Fez. Fez?
Oh, the white one.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan.
What happened to Hal Jordan?
Hal Jordan turned bad on everybody. Yeah, he was a Green Lantern who went rogue and ended up dying. Now he's actually been brought back to life.
How?
I'm not sure how. I know that there was another superhero called the Spectre. And
Phil Spector. I fucking hated him. His superpower is he used to kill women when he was all wired up on coke. And, like, if he would see a woman he didn't like, he'd do a big fucking rail and then kill the woman.
Well, now Hal Jordan is back as the Green Lantern and supposedly reformed.
But did they say, oh, look, you're back from the dead, or they just act like he never died?
No, he's back from the dead.
See, comic books really annoy. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Yeah.
I got a quick joke for you. Superman, Wonder Woman. Superman's flying around thinking he could go for some puss. He's thinking, Wonder Woman. He said,
oh, yeah. This is the third, It's the third joke.
Anyway,
he ended up, somebody was fucking her on the invisible jet. I can't do this. Earl, I can't sit around and hear jokes I heard in elementary school. It's not going to work for me. Here is Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Wonder Woman doesn't fly the jet anymore. She just flies around on her own.
How's she do that, Fez?
Now, I always
Titty power? That famous titty power she's known for?
I always heard she could fly, but not like Superman. You know how, like, Superman could circle the globe?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman, she can basically glide on air currents, but not like...
How does she get up there? She got to shoot herself from a slingshot?
Yeah.
Or can she leap?
She can leap.
So you're saying it's more like a flea, where it's really an ability to get up there, and then she's so light, she'll glide for a while.
Yeah, she can float around, but any sort of distance whatsoever, she's going to need that invisible jet.
Why wouldn't she just land? Re-leap.
That's going to take too long.
Too long for what?
If you're trying to get to, like, another continent or something.
How do you know?
Or back to Paradise Island for Easter.
How long can she be up there?
I think until as long as any glider could be.
All right. Do you know that a glider is going around the world?
Really?
Yeah. A glider is going around the entire world, Fez. So if that's the case, Wonder Woman can do it. She just needs to use those flea legs of hers to get up high enough. You know, the more I talk about comic book stuff and all, the more I hate it. I need them to not be so stupid. Here is Ryan. Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, just real quick, the Marvel equivalent to Justice League would be the Avengers, and also Batman is going to take care of Al Qaeda and Bin Laden and the boys in an upcoming graphic novel. So,
well, somebody needs to. I know. I heard Frank Miller said he's going to write that up, and I don't know. I'm a little suspect of that one. What do you think, Fez?
I'd like to see how it turns out. I went to see Frank Miller a couple weekends ago at the Big Apple comic book show, and he really didn't want to talk about that too much when they were doing a Q&A with him. I think he was trying to keep a lot of it under wraps, or maybe it just wasn't even done yet.
Maybe he decided not to. I decided it's a stupid idea. I started drawing it and saw how dumb it looked. So I just had Wonder Woman with flea legs.
I just want to see Batman's fist in Osama's face.
I wouldn't mind seeing Eastside and Roberto, the new crime-fighting duo. Eastside was all into the Masters over the weekend. Eastside, did your boy come through? Were you pulling for Mickelson?
Yeah, he came in big time, 7
Louder,
under
please.
par.
Scream, so it's so loud it's unbelievable.
Sorry, 7 under par, and was just absolutely magnificent. Controlled the golf course like a real man.
Now, why did it take him so long to win a major? Now every major he's winning.
They say he used to be sort of a riverboat gambler type of player, and he used to take too many chances. So
he was like Kevin Costner, and now he's more like Don Johnson?
Yeah.
What's the name of that film?
Tin Cup.
Thank you.
And so now he's the man. He's on top. He's quite talented.
Oh, he's in great shape. You can tell that that's a sport when you see the kind of shape that Mickelson's. He basically looks like he could be in a poker tournament.
Well, he's a little roly-poly, but he's a big guy.
His kids are adorable, too. They just came flying out of this thing, and one of them was like, Dad, look at this. I was trying to show something that she had, or did. That was cracking me up.
And his wife, very attractive.
What do you expect? You know, it's not like he's poor. You're never going to see rich guys married to pigs. Other than Johnny Sacks. That's the only guy with any money at all who doesn't go outside the weight class. You know, women are always talking about man this, man that. You don't see a lot of male gold diggers. I mean, normally, if you're an unattractive woman, you got to go to Europe to get yourself a gold digger, where you could look like a fucking frog in this country. You're going to find yourself with a beautiful baby with a little bit of cash.
Yeah, the Mickelson's kids, they look like they were dressed for Easter Sunday already.
866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here's Chris. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
East Side. If you had still had this little bat bet going, do you think you could have passed up Phil Mickelson's man titties juggling around the course?
Let me tell you something right now. One thing we learned about today was tit power. We learned about that. Wonder Woman has it, so does Mickelson. So he's your favorite now?
Oh, no, he's been my favorite for a bunch of years, being that I am, though, like, kind of a bandwagon, and I guess.
Sure.
With
I don't
some
blame
sports.
you. By the way, you drugged me onto that fucking Nets bandwagon and it crashed. As soon as I hopped on, the thing went off the rails.
You totally jinxed us.
I know.
I was looking at you as the number one jinxie
I did.
person. And then I didn't tell you that the game was on yesterday, and they won. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks.
Is that right? Now I'm on the Ben Wallace bandwagon. The man who does the black girl move of, no, I refuse. I refuse to be part of this team anymore. He basically ran down the stairwell like Black Girl last week.
He doesn't want to play.
Did they say what they're going to do about him? Anything come up at all?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah.
It would be an in-team suspension. He's a very valuable player.
I know. So you notice, like, the coach didn't bring it up later. The owner hasn't brought it up. The GM, everyone's just like, well, he's a maniac.
He's also a very intimidating, large black man.
Yeah.
I mean, he is maybe like the scariest guy in the NBA.
Right. But when you don't want to play, I mean, can you imagine in sports saying to the coach, no, you fucking pulled me out once, now I'm not going back in. Here is Maddie. Maddie, you're home run and Fez. How are you, pal?
Hey, not too bad. How's yourself?
Good.
I hate comics, too. I think they're fucking most illogical things ever written. They shouldn't even have kids reading them. But
I don't think kids do read them.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just middle-aged men. But for the most part, I think Punisher isn't too bad. I think that's the most believable.
I don't know. All I know of Punisher is the movie, and I thought that was hideous.
I never even checked that one out because it looks so bad.
Not bad though.
Yeah, didn't he have to go to hell or something and back?
Yeah, there was actually some like repercussion to dying, but in the movie, I guess you don't die. So
yeah, it was fucking scrambled all over the place. Now there's a 2020 or something this week. You know how we do this with comic book characters, how disbelievable it is. The new thing has been, like, for the news organizations to keep pointing out how you can't believe the Jesus thing at all. Like, how can that happen? The new one is they found a tomb which they believe belonged to Mary and Jesus' brother, and the little teaser was, and the way they set this up is, this is going to shock some people, Jesus had a dad. So they're trying to prove the DNA line that Jesus had.
Oh, okay, so they find the body of
I don't know if they found the body of Mary or his brother.
Right.
They found the tomb, and they claim there's some DNA. Now, I don't know the whole thing because it's just a teaser, but what they're saying is they are trying to prove that Jesus had an earthly dad. Does that fuck it up for you, Earl?
No, not at all.
Wouldn't even bother you slightly.
Not the slightest.
If you found out that the virgin thing wasn't true.
Well, they find things all the time, and there's no real accuracy to it or real.
You haven't even seen this before you made up your mind, though. You're already discrediting it before you've had a chance to look at it.
Well, yes, I am. I'm already.
You need to protect that way. You can't have an open mind.
No, it's not about having an open mind. It's just that's the story, and that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
What about
born of a virgin?
He's saying it's not that I don't have a open mind, but that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. The other thing is, how would Mary have a tomb? Because I thought she ascended into heaven, physically ascended.
Oh, that's right, yeah. She was supposed to ascend into heaven like Jesus did.
Right.
And also, along the tomb lines, they had to go get a tomb for Jesus on Good Friday when they buried him, because there was no family tomb. They actually had to go. They had to have one donated by somebody.
They had to go into a cave, basically.
Yeah. So it was someone that had this cave picked out for his own tomb,
right?
And volunteered that to put Jesus in. So there was no, family tomb.
All right, so look this up for me, guys. I think it's 2020 that's going to run it. Hey, Mickey, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
So does this prove that Jesus was black since his father bailed before he was born?
Don't be a racist. Why you're being like that? Why you're being a blasphemous? Don't move over into racism with him. I'm going to do this one for Jesus, too.
White people are so scared of black people.
And that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
But they have scientific evidence.
I want you to take this tape in and give it to your preacher, Earl. And then if it's true, he owes you 10% over the last 20 years. He owes you 10%.
So this is what we found out about Jesus in the past couple weeks. That he could have walked on a frozen lake, not the Sea of Galilee, not on the water of the Sea of Galilee.
Right.
That could have been frozen over. Then the Gospel of Judas came out, where it's like Judas was just was being a good soldier, doing what Jesus told him by betraying him. He wasn't actually a traitor.
Yeah.
And now this one.
Darren, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I'm not one of those you guys got to be like, oh, hey, guys. But come on, Ron, you don't have to question Christianity every show. I mean, try and keep some of the old aspects of the show incorporated with the new one on XM.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Go back from the beginning. What?
No, it's just that every show, it's the same topics about questioning Christianity. I mean,
every show
some of the old schoolers would like to see some of the old stuff from the show. I mean,
you're not going to get that. The show always moves on. First of all, we've done this show long before you ever start to listen to it. So you're not even fucking old school.
I don't question that. I don't question that.
To old school, why don't we bring Fast Eddie and Billy the Phone Freak in here, and that would be old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's what you got to imagine, right? We talk about whatever we want to talk about at any time that we want to talk about it. That's how it's the same as it's always been.
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Take care. That's the same that it's always been. Earl, he's got his story and he's sticking to it.
Well, just the other part of it is this is all new. This is recent discoveries. This is new news stories. It's not like you're bringing up something from.
You're saying Jesus is a new story.
No,
there hasn't been a Jesus before.
No, but the new findings have been. These are new findings.
Yeah, they're in the paper this week. They're on the news this week. It's Time. Was it Time or Newsweek that ran the skating story?
I think it was Newsweek.
Actually, Time and Newsweek both do a lot of religious stories every single year. They really, really pick up a lot of readership that way. Hey, James, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ronnie.
Yeah, buddy.
Fez. Hey, Ronnie, isn't the Virgin in the Virgin Mary not in the clinical sense, but in the biblical sense, in that she is born without original sin? That is how she's the Virgin Mary, not because she never had sex.
Well, she never had sex before she was pregnant with Jesus.
Right.
That's how she was the virgin.
But
you're saying her soul was a virgin, yes. She was the Immaculate Conception. Absolutely.
Going to the argument of DNA, there could be a DNA strand because she had to have sex. I mean, Jesus is the product of sex, not of being deposited in her womb.
All right, let me check with Fez on that. How would you take it, Fez?
No. She was a virgin, all through the birth of Jesus.
She was just a kid.
Yeah.
She was just a kid.
Exactly, very young, and if you believe in the Gospels, then it's, she became pregnant, but not through sex.
From the hand of God.
Through the Immaculate Conception. And she tells her cousin Elizabeth about this.
Wait. Don't get confused with Franco Harris. And everybody knows that was a fucking great catch and it was unbelievable. But really, when you look at it, why wasn't he further down the field? He had already given up on the play. And that's what people forget about. He was dogging it, and this thing fell into his hands.
Conception, not reception.
Whatever. Now it's apples and oranges, isn't it? Now you're splitting hairs.
And then the angel actually had to go tell Joseph in a dream, saying, listen, she's pregnant. Don't think she cheated on you. There was no sex involved.
What, was she already married to Joseph?
No, she was, betrothed to Joseph.
What's that mean?
They were engaged. And when Joseph found out she was pregnant, Joseph was going to take off, was going to bail on her.
Sure. We've all been in that position, boys.
And the angel had to go tell Joseph, no, everything's cool. She didn't fool around. She didn't have sex.
Settle down now. Simmer down.
Go back and raise this child.
Yeah. Do something in this ham and egger life of yours.
If you want to, sell another chair or table again, Carpenter.
Put down your Technicolor dream coat. Oh, that was a different Joseph.
Different Joseph.
Yeah.
That's Old Testament Joseph.
Sure. I always get those two mixed up because that's my favorite, when you really have a nice coat like that.
Yeah, famine going on, but he's got some nice threads. I don't get it. He really was the favorite in that story.
Speaking of famine, we got anything to eat around here? What happened?
No food.
Was this, were we cursed on this show?
You can get your food if you want.
Here's Don. Don, you're on Fez.
Hey, Don, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Fezzy.
Yeah, buddy.
Find me the words Immaculate Conception in the Gospels, bro.
I don't think those actual words are in there.
No, they are not. That's a Catholic Church dogma.
So why are you jumping in with us, Fez?
Well, because that's made up.
No, I'm talking to Fez.
Oh,
Fez,
sorry.
Well, it's all made up. But Fez, why are you trying to leap on our team?
I just thought that was the term for it.
So you don't even realize how much you rip off the Catholics. Here is Joe. Joe, you're on Fez.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm listening to Fezzy speak, and there's a couple of things. First of all, Mary is supposedly a virgin for the rest of her life.
That's what the Catholics believe.
That's what the Catholics believe.
Right.
I'm a 5th grade catechism teacher.
Well, I got my own radio show, so I'm not so
And I read it this week, and to the students, and we were just freaking out.
Freaking out? Why?
Well, I mean, I had no idea that she actually had to be a virgin the rest of her life. I mean, that's something they sort of prepare.
So you freaked out in front of the kids?
Well, I sort of did everything I could to
keep it together.
Yeah.
Oh my God, kids!
Well, I mean, could you imagine that all of a sudden you're sort of sitting in this class, and the way a catechism teacher works.
I thought this is why nuns didn't have sex. I thought that they had kind of married God, and that's where Mary was.
Well, that's the whole point. That's what I started to think to myself. I said, that's exactly what's going on. The reason why they get these nuns not to ever have sex is they're trying to tell you that Mary never had a real family life, if you would.
See, the nuns, they're married to God. Some of them would even wear wedding rings.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm not making that up.
No, I know. My answer.
So that people wouldn't hit on them?
No, so it would just show in the same way. That's not why people wear wedding rings, so nobody will hit on them, Fez. It's to show you've made a commitment.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then the second part is the Immaculate Conception that Fez and everybody seems to be talking about. Immaculate Conception comes from, that Our Lady of Fatima or Lourdes. At some point, when she appears to people, she says something along the lines of, I am the Immaculate Conception.
Right.
So that's a big deal because of all these sort of religious reasons. But anyway, it's definitely not it is a Catholic thing.
I'm pretty sure, Fez, your church doesn't believe in Our Lady of Fatima, right?
Yeah,
No, I've never heard that brought up.
Martin Luther.
All right, talk to you later. Yeah.
All right.
Martin Luther literally pounding his feces into a door. So
feces?
You don't even realize how many of the Catholic things that you picked up over the years.
Oh, no. Just...
a lot of that comes from Notre Dame football. Maybe if you had your own program and didn't have to piggyback onto ours.
The Lutheran football team, I don't even know if they have one at that university. Valparaiso.
Oh, yeah, there is. It's like, a double A or whatever the hell that's called. What is it when you're smaller in colleges?
Yeah, 2A. Yeah.
It's actually very good, to tell you the truth. I read about it in Sports Illustrated. Terry, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Is Doug Flutie's grandfather Jesus?
Where's that come from?
The Immaculate Reception, Gerald Phelan, Boston College.
Yeah, that wasn't the real Immaculate Reception.
Wasn't the real one?
No, the real one was Franco Harris. The one that Doug Flutie did, let's face it, was a hell of a toss.
Right.
I wouldn't even call it a pass. It was a toss. And let's face it, there wasn't even a championship on the line. No one ever brings that up. But it wasn't that big of a game.
Yeah, I mean, the most you can call that's the Hail Mary. I don't even know if that pass has, like, a sports nickname to it.
I don't know, but it never goes away. I'll give them that. That thing will pop up every single year. Somebody will show that again. That was the the prime spot of Doug Flutie's entire life. Just letting one go. Just tearing into it. And really probably the last decent pass that he threw. And no, I don't want to get calls right now about Canadian League football. Do not bring up the Rough Riders to me. It's not going to happen, Dave. No Rough Rider talk on this show.
What about Flutie Flakes? He got his own cereal. I mean, that's not a highlight?
That's a pass. That's a fucking pass. It's a great marketing tool, but why was that? Because of his son, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, who's going to make fun of him for that? Of course, I went out and bought some of the flakes.
Then Jimmy Johnson had his team stomp on him.
Did he really?
Later had to apologize. We're just trying to fire up the team.
Yeah. By what? Why don't you kick over a March of Dimes thing? You want to win so bad, you're going to start knocking over the March of Dimes coins. Here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, John.
Here's Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy? Scotty.
Hey.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, there are several books, and I apologize for maybe not getting the vernacular right here, but there are several books when the Romans were comprising the Bible and it was ultimately commissioned by the Roman emperor at the time. There were a number of books that were disallowed, and some of that stuff's coming to light. Some of it may be the things that they're discovering. In the
that's basically what we're talking about. The Mary Magdalene book is now coming to light. That had been kind of run out by the early church. The book by Judas had got run out, and there was actually a bunch of them that were put together at different times. And then, like everything else, it was edited.
There was like the Gospel of Peter that got edited out, which had some sort of story in it, like when Christ was resurrected at his tomb.
Yeah.
That, like the cross was there. So I guess they had brought the cross there, and the cross came to life and was talking.
Absolutely.
Hey, everybody, it's me, the cross.
Hi, Crossy.
So what's your point, Scott?
Well, when these things came out that's going to be on, I think it was on National Geographic last night about the whole Judas find. Immediately, some of these people from the larger religions, there was a couple of Baptist ministers, and I think there was a couple others that said, this is bullshit. We can't take it for face value. Well, faith is faith, and belief is belief, but religion is kind of a subjective thing, if you will.
Thank you very much, Scott. You're almost putting together a thought there, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it's true. If you have faith, you have faith. And in Earl's case, he doesn't care what the facts are. He just wants his faith. Is that right, Earl?
No, it's just like the Book of Judas. Wasn't he already dead? How could you write about something after?
Well, now you're going to start and pick apart books. Are we going to do that with the other books of the Bible, or just the one on Judas?
No, I'm just like.
But normally, if you say that if you suddenly add any critical fucking thing about anything in the Bible, you get like that caller earlier, where they're furious. Like somehow, if you're looking for facts in the world, you're somehow attacking faith.
No, it's not just an attack on faith. It's just like factually, like how could Judas write a book when he was already dead?
But
who was alive? Did Jesus write a book?
No, he never.
Then why do you give a fuck about the Bible, Earl? That's always been my question. Why would you care? If Jesus thought this stuff was so important to write down, why didn't he?
He was too busy doing it.
So he's too busy. He's too busy to spend some time. First of all, you had 12 hours of darkness back then, where really, with his eyes, he could have sat there and wrote this thing up in maybe 5 seconds. But you're saying the only real problem with Christianity is time management.
No, I'm not saying that at all. It's just sort of, has the Bible been edited? Yes, it has been edited. There are certain books, for whatever reason, that were omitted, and there were certain books that were put in.
Not even just omitted, Earl. When you go back and read this, they were burned, and the people who believed in them, a lot of them were killed.
Yes, obviously, but...
Obviously, if people have beliefs different from yours, you should burn them and kill them so you can spread this word of love.
Earl misses the burnings.
Yeah. Here's Jeff. Jeff, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Jeff, go ahead, buddy.
Judas didn't write the Gospel according to Judas, and neither did Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. They were well dead after their books were written also.
Because really not a lot of people were writing that time. Everything was oral history.
Right.
Just spread around from story to story. Basically like when we used to play the game telephone when we were kids. Just passed around from person to person.
John, you gotta love his, though, because his is the Gospel according to John, the one Jesus loved. That's how he bills himself, as the one Jesus loved. Like the rest of these guys, Jesus could really do without them if he had to.
You know what it reminds you of? The guys that hung around with Elvis, and they all wrote books, and they were all Elvis's best friend.
Yeah. So the thing with Judas, this Gospel of Judas, if Jesus trusted Judas enough to take him into his confidence,
right,
I think that puts John in a backseat behind Judas.
Maybe he did it to spare it. Maybe he loved John so much he wanted to spare him of some of the nasty stuff that had to go down with Judas.
Listen, I'm going to share this with you, but don't tell John whatever you do, it'll be a basket case.
Gosh, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that, maybe you know this or not, but most of the disciples, I think with the exception of Peter, were illiterate. They were all, country bumpkins.
Well, I don't know if they were bumpkins, but not a lot of people were reading and writing in those days.
Well, if you grew up fishermen, you probably weren't going to go to school, other than fishing school, with your dad.
But, it's not like you went away to college in those days. Basically, you would turn somebody over to another man who had whatever skill it was to teach that kid. These were not easy days. Believe me, they weren't like Earl is now, laying around all weekend without a care in the world. And he's acting like Jesus just didn't have enough time. Jesus really couldn't make the time to write this stuff down.
He turned that water to wine awfully quick. It's not like he had to go sit there and let it ferment and everything, and make a fine wine.
You know how to spread out a meal, too.
Earl, don't be blasphemous.
Oh,
I'm not going to put up with your blasphemy today.
It wasn't blasphemous at all. No, feeding the 5,000. That was a miracle.
Yeah, you can't feed two today. I know you can't get something from me and Fez.
You want? I could.
I like to see you turn a menu into a small fucking buffet. That's what I would be after.
A phone call into a lunch.
Hey Jimmy Mac, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering Catholic here, but I think
that's a new joke.
It'll be helpful if we get a few of the facts straight. First of all, if you take the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they were written by those guys about 100 years later. They didn't even know Jesus. They were out there, and you can find this in the Acts of the Apostles, which is kind of an accompaniment to the Gospels. It comes after the Gospels. They were written to convert certain groups of people who had their own cultures and traditions and whatever. So the four Gospel writers were up against quite a bit of tradition and culture against Christianity.
Right.
Secondly,
which is why, we have a giant bunny bringing around eggs this Sunday. And what's that got to do with Christianity, Earl?
Absolutely nothing.
And yet, why do we celebrate it?
Well, Baptists, we celebrate, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We do not do the whole Easter egg.
You never got eggs when you were a kid?
We did it at home, but it wasn't something that was overtly done at church.
No, it's not done at church, but it is part of the tradition, is it not?
It's part of someone's tradition. It's been
yours.
It's been incorporated into other. Somehow it's gotten co-opted and incorporated into that.
But what do you mean somehow? As if it was an accident and not done on purpose?
No, I'm just saying it somehow got incorporated.
Yeah, somehow. Somehow. Just happened that way. We'll see.
Through the centuries, no one ever thought it was blasphemous enough to, say, hey, we got to quit collecting eggs.
Every once in a while it'll pop up. But it was just the opposite, Fez. It was like, oh, you collect eggs, so do we. We collect them, too, for Jesus. That's how we get it. Come on, everybody. We're doing our egg hunt. Oh, you have a giant bunny, so do we. It's all fun. The bunny stuff's just real fun. It's craziness.
If you like your stuff, coming over. We have Jesus and chocolate.
We didn't even need chocolate at all, Earl.
I can get you some. What do you like?
We got nothing here.
But, here's what I hate. When someone says, what do you want? When we're already this far into it, and now he's acting like, well, why don't you let me know? You've got to anticipate. You know what I'm saying? That's always the best guys at sports, Earl. They know where the things are going. They know me and Fez are going to be hungry as the show moves along. Anticipation.
We're past that point of no return.
I know. Now I'm just furious. Now everything just makes me nuts. I literally see red right now.
Everything looks red?
Everything. Maybe I might be a little hungover. Could have something to do with it. It might be more bloodshot. I see bloodshot more than red.
You may need Visine and not food.
You know how this Friday's Good Friday, right, Earl?
Yes.
Let's make it a great one. For the first time ever, let's bump it up from Good Friday to Great Friday.
How can we make it any better?
Food.
Nice.
Large buffet. All right, we're going to break here. We'll be right back, Ron and Fez. Yeah, it's the Ron and Fez show. Fez and I were just watching the TV here. The march in Dallas, the immigration march in Dallas brought in 500,000 people lining the street, as big as just a big walking Woodstock.
I was watching the footage, and they kept panning down the crowd, the mass of people, and, it was just thick, the crowd of people marching. And then it just kept going and going as they're, going down the street with it. I couldn't believe how many people were packed in there.
There you heard it from Fez. It's a thick crowd.
They are thick.
And they just keep on going. All right, there is going to be one today in New York City, right?
Yeah, the big one is at City Hall Park, starting at 3 o'clock in New York City.
Right.
Then there's some other ones that are going to join up with the ones at City Hall Park. There's going to be one that starts at Washington Square Park in the Village, then goes to City Hall Park. One in Chinatown, so I guess the Asian immigrants jumping on board too. And one that's coming across the Brooklyn Bridge that's going to go to City Hall Park.
What I would like to do is turn that one around and have it go right to Blowhard's place. Do you ever notice that the people who all were very, very big talkers about this in politics, the blowhards of the whole gimmick, have all shut their pie holes and went underground? As soon as this thing blew up, where you find out people are invested enough into it to actually get involved physically. Like, a lot of people say that they're against the war now, but they don't do anything. They don't bother their congressmen. They don't take to the streets. As soon as you take to the streets and those people go, uh-oh, there could be votes against me, they shut the fuck up. They turn it all around.
I think when this started, the politicians that were in favor of the reform immigration bill, where it was so harsh against immigrants and illegal immigrants, I thought they must have thought it was going to go right on through, because it went through the House. They thought it was going to go through that Senate committee, and that's where all of a sudden people started showing up in California and other places in the streets, and now the whole thing is shut down.
Bronx Johnny, come on in here. Are you heading downtown today? You going to be part of this?
Yeah, boss. Viva la raza, man.
What's that mean?
Like, go race. Whatever.
Go race. All right. Race. Viva la raza. I like my race, is what he's yelling. Is it exciting for you?
Yeah, it kind of is. It's finally some unity in the communities and all that. It's kind of cool.
The unity in the community. Another nice one. Now, at this point, you don't care what country the people are from. They can be from Ecuador, they could be from Mexico, they can be from Cuba. Doesn't matter. Everybody's together.
Yep, that's the point.
Yeah. Now, if I was to go downtown today, how quick would the beatdown take place?
They wouldn't touch you.
I'm all right, good. So, because I was gonna, I was gonna just jump in. Me, I love to be part of a crowd. I love to be part of a party. Earl, are you gonna be down there taking pictures?
Yeah, I want to check this out.
Or as he calls it, snaps. And what we're doing right now, Eastside Dave is logging every time he goes out to take photographs. So he's taking that off his Earl works harder than anybody gimmick.
His mental timesheet on Earl that he's keeping.
Yeah.
I think the official rally cry for the immigration protest is Si se puede.
What's that mean?
Yes, we can.
What's wrong with Viva la Raza?
Raza.
What's the difference?
And then body, rowdy.
Here's the Blowhard. Blowhard, how are you doing, buddy?
Who's going underground?
You and all your type.
What's going on, Mole Man?
Hey, how you doing? What exactly does that mean? I mean, it's a serious problem. It's a complicated problem.
Where's all these leaders who agreed with you before these things started?
Look, I think Fez nailed it last week when he said that this is the hot-button issue, just like the flag burning, just like the abortion issue. I think a lot of politicians are just getting this out just to get the passion, going with the base. But the problem is this.
What does he mean, Fez?
Issue.
Since he's quoting you, Fez, what does he mean?
Yeah, apparently he's saying that politicians aren't convincing the electorate that this is a good idea.
Or did they never believe in it at all? Is that the point, Blowhard?
Well, there are some politicians who are brave and have some conviction on the topic. But, it comes down to a lot of issues. It's not just one. First of all, let's get this Mexican thing out of the way. The Mexicans are 60% of the illegals in this country. So we're talking also what you mentioned earlier about the Asians. We're talking about Europeans. We're talking about overall a system that has to be overhauled. So number one, we have to worry about securing the borders, period. That's the issue. That's the most important. You cannot have people crossing borders at will in a sovereign nation. Agreed?
Europe, they do it all the time. Europe, you can just go from one place to the other.
With proper identification.
No one stops you for it.
They do stop you. I don't know where you're getting your information. I can't go...
If you're on the railway in Europe, do you have to stop constantly? I was told that you didn't.
No, you have to. You have to have...
I thought that was the old days.
There is no civilized nation in this world where you can just come and go as you please. There is no place. The most important issue, and like I'm trying to say, is there's just more than one issue here. The first problem is securing the borders, which should be the most important thing, and that includes the Canadian border as well as the southern borders. We cannot have open borders in the
So what do you want? You want a wall around the whole United States?
No, but we have to have
and then a smaller one around Hawaii.
All right, so listen, what's your take on this then? You want to have an open country where anybody can come and go? You want that? Don't you see that there's a problem here, that anybody who speaks honestly about the topic is going to be stigmatized and attacked when that's the first priority right now, is to secure the security of this country.
That isn't where you were at with this before. Before it was, we're losing jobs to the Mexicans, blah, blah, blah.
And I'll tell you why. Because when you have a large influx of illegal aliens into the labor market, it does depress the wages, and working conditions for native non-skilled workers are affected.
Right, here is Brian. Brian, you're on with the Blowhard. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Blowhard, man, you need to learn what you're talking about before.
I know all what I'm talking about.
Let him talk, Blowhard.
1 million people.
Blowhard, let him talk. Go ahead, Brian.
Nine countries in Europe just this past 6 months didn't have to pull out my passport once.
I'm talking about, could you go live in that country?
No, you said that there's no sovereign nation where you can travel through.
I'm talking about going to a country back and forth without any type of documentation.
And that's
exactly.
That's what he did.
You can go from France to Germany.
Blowhard, shut up, man.
Hey, listen, I'm talking here.
Blowhard, you're not talking. Let Brian tell the truth. Go ahead.
Once you get inside the EU, the European Union, you do not need to show your passport.
So somebody from Iran can travel to the EU. Can you shut up?
Would you let him explain it, Blowhard, please?
Because I'm tired of the propaganda and the lies.
You wonder why people want to punch you in the head sometimes.
Come and do it. I'll give you my address. You come and do it, jackass.
All right, go ahead. Give off the address, Blowhard. We'll write it down.
If you want to cross the Canadian border, you don't need to show your ID either. You don't need a passport.
I don't know. I've never been through the Canadian border. Never got stopped and had to show my ID.
My aunt doesn't.
Well, that's
holy God.
The problem is this: illegals are twice as likely to be on welfare than native-born Americans, and the public benefits roughly is estimated at $75 billion a year that's being spent on illegal aliens. Now, there's a plus side to this. We can't stop illegal aliens from coming here the way that many people on the extreme right want to have it. We can't say round up everybody and criminalize them and send them home. It's not practical. It cannot be.
Here's Jack. Jack, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, I was a Department of Defense worker for probably 18 years probably now. And in the European Union, you get on a train and you go. Every once in a while, somebody might ask you if you're a suspicious traveler or anything like that.
Now, Blowhard, when I told you that, when you
go from country to country and work.
No, you just said you couldn't go from country to country.
You need documentation.
Yeah, but you just said you couldn't go from country to country. So
I was talking about working.
If they're even less than than we are now, right?
I wasn't clear enough.
Don't you
Ronnie?
think?
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to just get a sentence across. Don't you think people there are going to rework? Wouldn't you say that their immigration things have to be even more lax than ours?
The European Union is a different story than what's happening at our borders today.
Why is that?
What's happening is illegal smuggling. You have to have an idea of what's coming into your country. And at least in the EU, you do have your papers. You do have your documentation. And if it's required to ask for it, you can't go from Norway to Germany and just work there for a year or two. You're going to face the
I'm sure people do the same as here. I'm sure these things happen all the time. Hey, Andrew, you're on Ron and Fez. Say hi to the Blowhard.
Hi, Blowhard.
Yeah.
You're talking out of your arse, dear boy, because England, yes, anyone who gets a European passport can work anywhere in Europe without needing any further documentation. I can travel between Holland down to Italy without showing my passport once.
And you can live there and work.
Yeah, and I lived there for 30-odd years. I now live in America, and I have my own business over here and do lots of good charity work and all the rest of the stuff. But in Europe, it's very different. And yes, there are smugglers from the old Eastern Bloc. There are smugglers bringing in people in containers like they are over here, and mainly African immigrants, which is a problem as well. But once they get into Europe, they can get to Germany, or it's easy to get a passport, and then they come to England and get the welfare. But that's not the point. In Europe, you can travel wherever you want, but there is not this border patrol groups are just vigilantes running around bopping people on the head because they disagree with them.
What about the rule of law? What about the fact that when you bring in illegals and you depend on cheap labor, you're slowing down the process of innovation and modernization? You're lowering wages all across the board. Now, I'm not going to say...
First of all, every bit of modernization and innovation that we've had in this country has been at the work of new immigrants coming in. People from India come here.
Not unskilled workers with a sixth-grade education. We have limits and quotas on skilled workers coming into this country.
Yeah, but you act like immigration doesn't work. That's what made this whole country work in one way or another.
I mean, the guys who helped create the bomb, they were Germans who we basically smuggled in here. They were technically illegal aliens.
We have too many unskilled
Why don't you come on over to City Hall today and help? Be part of the solution.
I'm part of the solution.
Viva la raza.
If you go to the website fairus.org, you can get all the information.
Are you running that now? Is that the new Blowhard thing?
No, it's just people I like.
Well, and the other part is corporations and all these other people. They should be.
I have a bad connection here.
No, they should be held accountable too, because they're always saying that Americans won't work these jobs and what have you.
Americans won't work the cheap jobs because the jobs don't pay well, and it's not the fault of the illegals.
Then what?
I'm not blaming.
Then what you need to do? Wait a minute. The job would pay. The job would pay whatever the fucking corporations will put out there.
Exactly.
If they have a job that they're not paying a living wage and they're not paying health benefits, then the fucking government should be going after them to begin with.
I agree with you 100% on that. I'm not calling up here as some maniac, just trying to say, hey, throw them all out. It cannot be. There are many illegals here entrenched in society who are raising kids, and we just can't say leave and go back like some people
like you were a couple weeks ago before you saw how many people got in the street. Hey, James, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yes, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, Blowhard, I want you to explain the welfare comment you just made, that 60% of the Mexicans are collecting welfare.
No, I didn't say that. I said when it comes to illegal immigration, it's estimated that 60% of the illegal immigrants coming into this country are Mexican.
Okay, and you're saying that they have welfare benefits as illegal?
No, not all, but there is a 50% chance more, actually more than that illegals are twice as likely as Native Americans to be on welfare.
Blowhard, how do you get your money?
Because you're living life like a plus-size Cosmo Kramer in New York.
Hey, listen, I worked my entire life. I'm doing well for myself, and I pay more taxes than the next guy. But I'm talking about this. I'm just trying to show that there's a negative side. Instead of all these happy people waving flags,
why don't you join them, Blowhard?
We're a country of immigrants, Ronnie. We're a nation of immigrants, but there has to be a process. There has to be an overhaul of the system. We cannot just absorb.
Well, where did all your politicians go that believed in this? How come they all went underground?
It's the same thing with that Terry Schiavo case. The politicians were grandstanding, and then look what happened. They vanished when they tried to get involved with that. There are a lot of gutless, spineless politicians in Washington who they fear a backlash.
All right, why don't you run then, Blowhard?
You know, I thought about it. It's been too long that this issue has not been addressed, and as a matter of national security, we cannot have open borders.
I would actually vote for you. I would. Now, it would be weird. I would do that, Blowhard, I swear. Now, I've never voted for the Nazi Party before, so where do I find that in the booth? Where is that? Under N?
Well, you don't make an X, you make the swastika.
See, I can't do that, Fez, because of World War II.
The truth is, I do not want to have this criminalization of the people who are here already. I do not believe...
Why? Wouldn't they be criminals? They came here and they're fucking up the country, according to you.
The thing is, no, I didn't say fucking up the country.
Well, they're taking up the welfare and they're smuggling.
Limits.
Yeah. We do have limits
on immigration.
But look, here's the thing. All right, Blowhard. All right, Blowhard, stop. You can't. I want to make a point so everybody can follow. All right. You say that we have to be a country of laws, right? These people have broken the law, correct?
Right.
Yet you don't want to throw them out.
Because it's practically impossible.
So you have laws that can't up there right now that you're saying don't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
It's a problem that we have to work on, and it's a complicated issue. You can't take people who've been working here 10, 20 years, who've been working and raising.
I thought they were taking money away from us and being on the welfare system.
A lot of them are.
Right.
You're talking the average education of an unskilled Mexican migrant is 6th grade. That's not saying all. That's not saying. Well, but that's a majority of the people coming in here are unskilled. American natives.
All right, you got to hold on. Give everybody a chance to talk, Blowhard.
All right. I can't really hear. The phone's kind of low.
Okay. All right, then I'll put you on hold, and every time I'll come back to you. All right. Here's what you're doing though. You got to remember this, Fez. People aren't coming to this country all the time because things are so great where they are. Who would want to leave there if you're really doing well? Let's say. Anywhere. Would you go, I want to get out of here? No.
It's got to be the weirdest thing in the world to do, to say, all right, I'm going to leave the place I was born and go to this completely different place where they don't even speak the same language I do.
You know why, Fez? You do that so you can get some money and send some of it home and do whatever you have to do.
I'm not against immigration. I'm against the policy we have now, and I'm against...
Well, we're all against the policy we have now.
Well, the point I'm making is that there has to be secure borders.
All right.
And in New York City, Medicaid is given out, I've mentioned this before on your show, to anyone. And if the police arrest an illegal alien, they cannot report them. It's New York City I live in, and this is what's happening now.
Let other people talk. Here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
First off, Blowhard, I travel in and out of Europe all the time, just like everybody else said. I've been stopped maybe twice in the dozen years that I'm going there. And believe that there are as many illegals going into countries as there are here.
And everything in Europe is going really well. Look at the recent social unrest.
Wait a minute, you were just using them to defend yourself, Blowhard.
I'm talking about the borders of a sovereign nation. I'm not talking about just coming and going, like we go to Canada, we stop at the border, the checkpoint. I'm talking about making a living in a foreign...
Blowhard, let him talk. Go ahead, John.
I'm in and out of there all the time. There are no checks. Years ago, when you travel into Eastern Europe, you would get stopped for your papers. But now you're crossing the borders with ease over there with not a worry.
All right.
But wait.
Go ahead.
You got to say that the Mexicans are here with a 6th grade education level. You know how many guys I work with that probably just got a 6th grade education level?
A lot of people,
migrant workers.
A lot of people graduate here with a 6th grade fucking reading level.
Ronnie, I know the topic well. I know people who work with migrants.
And Blowhard, do you realize that the majority of people on welfare in this country are white?
Yes, because it's predominantly a white population, and poverty does strike white people more on a level more because there's more white people, and you have poverty. Which basically is another reason why we can't absorb unskilled.
Blowhard, you've got to give other people a chance to talk. Go ahead.
You're painting that you're misrepresenting me.
All right, I got to put him on hold. I want to go back to him, but I got to put him on hold.
It has to be conversations, Blowhard.
What is name calling here?
What's the name calling?
Plus size Cosmo Kramer?
That one's got to stop.
Yeah, really, Fez.
He gets his money how he gets his money, Fez. It's a mystery.
I'm curious. I'd just like to know.
It's none of your business.
I know it's not.
It's really none of your business.
I do consulting work.
And the most you can say, Fez, is you work 3 hours a day more than him. So it's nothing to brag about.
But people know where I get my cash.
That's true.
I mean, if you don't recognize the need to have
speed,
the borders fortified and the system overhauled.
What do you want to build? A wall? Blowhard?
Listen.
You want the Great Wall? I'm serious.
Well,
you want to
let me
build
ask
a
you
wall
question.
across
What do you guys think
Canada?
about the topic?
How many miles is that? 2,000?
You know what? I guarantee this too. That everyone that says that bit of we have to build a wall, and I'm talking about the Canadian border too.
Yeah.
If we got the Mexican border wall up, they would care less if that Canadian one ever got done.
No.
It's just a way to offset everything.
Almost 30% of the federal inmates being incarcerated are illegal aliens. And that's just federal. I could only imagine what it is if the local municipalities and state...
I thought you wanted them in jail. I don't understand what you want.
What I want...
Just gone?
Yeah.
Secure...
They're being arrested for being immigrants.
No, I didn't say that. I know that's impossible.
They're getting arrested for what? Not being able to afford their own lawyers. We get it.
No, because in this country they give you a lawyer.
Yeah. Have you ever fucking seen those guys? Believe me, I was down at jury duty. I started fucking...
I've been in the court system. I know how it works, Ronnie.
It's awful. All right, I got to put you on hold so I can speak. I go down there, Fez. This retard who they had given to this dope dealer, I had to look over, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy is not going to be able to handle it. I started arguing with the judge. I go, you can't have this guy as the defense lawyer.
It's all Louis Tully from Ghostbusters, that lawyer.
Louis Tully would be the fucking king. He would be as high as we could go.
The firm of Tully and Tully.
All right, when you hear Blowhard, does it hurt your feelings, or are you used to it? How do you...
Not really.
Yeah.
The man don't know what he's talking about, so it doesn't bother me.
But, you're a good person. Why can't he see you halfway? Why can't he see you as a human?
And what do we do? The kids of illegal immigrants born in this country, they're automatic in.
Yeah.
They're automatic American citizens. What are you supposed to do with the parents? Leave all these kids in the States and get rid of the parents?
Maybe the kids should be shot. Then Blowhard will be happy.
Finally, a solution.
Yes, the final solution, like they tried back in Europe before his people had to come here. Hey, here's our friend Solera. How are you, darling?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good.
I just want to point out that I find it highly amusing that Blowhard is calling American citizens Native Americans while he's making all of these random...
That is true.
Up.
All right, Blowhard.
Yes, sir.
Did you want to apologize to Solera for calling white people Indians?
I called white people Indians?
You said Native Americans.
I meant to say native born. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Native born. And those people are worth more as far as their health when they show up at a hospital than anybody else.
I'm not going to attack the work ethic of the illegals who are here. They do mow the lawns.
Well,
they
what
do
you said
bust
was
the
you had
tables.
a problem.
I'm
But
talking
you said
about
you had
the
a problem with
situation.
somebody showing up at a hospital and getting medical assistance if they weren't native-born Americans.
In New York City, right now, you can go on Medicaid if you're a non-citizen.
I use my medicine man.
And get full dental. You can get eyeglasses. You get transportation to and from your doctor.
Actually, you're misrepresenting what the case is.
No, I'm not misrepresenting New York City.
No, you're misrepresenting what it is, because actually, even when you're a legal immigrant, you have to sign a document before you get your legal papers that says you will not take any type of assistance for 5 years. And that's the first part. The second part, as far as being illegal, is you cannot get welfare. You cannot get any type of assistance. But if you show up at a hospital and need hospital care, they cannot deny you.
No, the law in the hospital is they have to treat you in the hospital. But there are people
because they're not going to let people die because they weren't born within
nobody's
the fucking
die in
border that
New
we
York
made
City.
up out of nowhere.
Nobody's going to die. Let's not get melodramatic here.
But then you're saying
So
that you have a
basically,
problem.
We made up our borders?
What should we do with the open borders that are not protected. Should we just let people, 1.1 million people crossing every year?
That aren't even looked at either. If you're concerned about security, I think maybe 4 or 5 Mexicans crossing the Rio Grande isn't as important as 500 or 600 barges that come into the ports of New York City
so
and don't even get
Arab
inspected.
terrorists can't come through the country. People who want to do us harm can't cross down at the Rio Grande.
Well,
Let's be honest
they
here.
came through Canada the last time, but whenever anybody talks about immigrants, they talk about Hispanic people.
No, it's not that's what I'm trying to say earlier.
The first thing you hear are the Mexicans.
This is what I said
and
earlier.
There are illegal Irish people. There are illegal
No,
Indian people.
there's a lot of good Irish people and a lot of European Irish people who want to come here. I have friends of mine in Woodside, Queens, who I support 100%. We have to find a system that's fair.
Blowhard.
The people who are doing it the legal way.
Blowhard. You have yourself set up as Bill the Butcher right now, and you think that you're defending this country, and you're wrapping yourself in a flag.
No, I'm not wrapping myself.
And your people came here from where?
Sense.
Your people came here from where?
The majority of Americans.
Blowhard, your people came here from where?
Norway and Sweden.
All right, how long ago?
Ellis Island days.
Okay, so you've been in here a couple of generations.
Exactly.
And you hold on to the Nordic thing like so important to you.
Not really. I mean,
come on,
I enjoy the culture.
You send Fez candy from there.
We had a huge argument over which was better, American or Norwegian chocolate.
That's not even close, Blowhard.
Listen.
Yeah.
You guys are attacking me, but you're not.
No, not at all.
I'm making a point that I'm not going to bash the hardworking immigrants who come here, but we have to have a control system.
But you say you're making that point, and then you proceed to say that immigrants are more likely to be on welfare, immigrants are in jail, immigrants are committing crimes, and immigrants are usurping our resources, when in fact, it's just some type of, it's a combination of racism and nationalism.
No,
and
racism. Okay, there it comes the racism line. Everybody who disagrees is a racist.
No, I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying that a lot of the points you're bringing up,
there are a lot of people
saying that immigrants are hardworking. You're also saying that they're on welfare and they're criminals.
I'm saying statistics show, and you can go to fairus.org for the facts.
There are also statistics that show that most of the people in jail are native-born Americans. There are statistics that show that most of the people on welfare are Southern white people.
And one of the most liberal columnists and writers, Paul Krugman of the New York Times, he supports immigration reform because, like me, reform. But he believes that we don't have a safety net for Native American-born people, and it will be even further diminished.
They have the casino.
It'll be diminished if we keep on letting 1.1 people coming into this country.
1.1?
Illegal. That's the estimate.
1.1? Who? How's a 1/10 of a person coming in? What are you saying?
1.1 million.
Oh, okay, million. All right.
There are only 12 million illegals in this country.
Well,
out
that's
of a
what they
country of
say.
300
it
million.
could be higher. And like I said, we have to get a system
and
where.
most of the migrant workers leave once they send their money home.
And what about the abuse that the migrants get? Illegal immigration is bad for both Americans, Native Americans, and it's bad for the illegal because
Indians?
they're being exploited. They live in work camps. They get paid. They get paid
the
peanuts.
reform should start at the top as opposed to the bottom. Shouldn't the reform be laws that make it very unbeneficial to corporations to hire illegals as
Throw the book
opposed
at
to
corporations.
No one's going to throw the book at corporations because they're the ones that support the politicians, not us. That's what it's all about.
That's unfortunate.
They should have to pay that $2,000 processing fee that they're laying out.
I'm against immigration. I'm the grandson of immigrants. I have no problem with immigration, but we cannot have open borders. It's that simple. And the majority of Americans agree with my opinion.
You know what? I think it's amazing, though, and this is an American success story. Your people came here 2 generations ago looking for the American dream. And here 2 generations later, there you are living the life of leisure.
Hey, what could I tell you?
They did it.
They've done it.
Selling those Swedish fish candies.
Yeah.
That's right. Those Swedish fish go a long way.
All right, thanks, Blowhard.
No, Ron, let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
I want to just summarize what's been going on.
All right, hold on, though. I need some time before that. Solera?
Yes?
Are you going down to the thing today with Johnny, Bronx Johnny?
I'm here already.
Oh, you're at City Hall?
Yeah, I work down here, and actually I think I'm going to go because I don't like crowds, and I particularly don't like large crowds of Spanish people around me. They scare me.
What I want to do, I want to go down because I feel like the food should be good, like in the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
I've seen
Super
some
soakers and video cameras.
Some It looks like it's going to be a good show.
All right, honey. We'll see you. We're going to be at Carrabba's next month. That's the next party.
Oh, sweet. Can't wait.
All right, baby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Solara.
Boy, she dusted Blowhard, huh?
Yeah, she had an answer for everything. A counter.
Every rambling?
Yeah.
All right, he wants the last word. Fez, put him on a timer, okay?
You got it.
Blowhard, I'm going to put you on for the last word, but I need to take off my headphones. But Fez is going to have you on the timer, and start.
Go.
You know, I'm sitting here listening, and there's just so much misconception and so much falsehoods being portrayed. The bottom line is this, fellas. I am not about bashing illegal aliens. What I'm for is a system where legal aliens and illegal aliens can be processed correctly. I don't want
30 seconds.
Okay. You know, I haven't heard one solution from you guys. It's easy to bash and make accusations, but the truth is our nation's security is at risk. Our economy is in the shitter and getting worse if we keep on letting unskilled labor in this country.
15 seconds.
We have to have a system where people can come here and be treated well, and the people who are in line,
10,
who are doing it legally, aren't being bypassed by the people who break the laws. Reform illegal immigration, get the system going correctly. Hello, am I still on the clock?
Start wrapping it up.
It's a matter of national security, fellas. That's the bottom line. And if you want to lower wages all across the board in this country, that is the future.
And time. Where did Ronnie go? Blowhard was supposed to wrap up his immigration plea.
I can't handle that. I leave like it's a hurricane warning when he starts into that. Here is Nick. Nick, you're on Ron and Fez.
I have to agree with Blowhard, fellas. I'm sorry.
On what?
On basically the immigrants are horrible for the workforce, you know.
Right.
Unless you've worked hand in hand with them and you understand the complete barrier between the languages. I mean, like, if you're carrying something heavy, and it's happened with me before, and you're telling them, you know, up or down or whatever, and they don't understand a lick of English, I mean, I've torn up my ankle that way because they dropped something or...
That's my big problem with immigrants, and I will back you up here. They will hurt your ankles. They will hurt your ankles because they don't understand the language. Not like the Norwegians who came here speaking the Queen's English the day that they landed on this country. Or the Irish who came to this country and really, just a million of them laid downtown for fucking 2 generations before they got up and started moving around.
Nick, you should have testified in front of Congress. If they had heard about this bad foot of yours, this bad paw, things could have changed.
Congressmen have taken off, as no one knows where they are right now. Those are the ones who started this shit up from word go, and we haven't seen them since people took to the streets.
And it happens every time. Every few years, someone gets a bug in their ass thinking, I'm going to come out and say, let's secure the borders and get easy votes and a lot of popular opinion my way. And the same thing happens. Anytime they bring up immigration, table that.
Yeah, let's
till the next time.
Let's get out of here. Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, tell Blowhard I got a job for him for $100 an hour if he wants to come down and pick lettuce down here in Arizona.
How long would he last, do you think, Fez?
Oh, not through the first head.
Ouch.
There'd be a break.
I'm for the giant wall. I don't think it's going to cost much money to build a giant wall that goes all the way across the south and then one all the way across the north.
Could the immigrant laborers build the wall for us? Would that be a way of... I mean, because you're probably going to need $12 million to build this big of a wall, the 700-mile border of old Mexico.
Wouldn't that kind of be against what we're trying to do here if we bring in immigrants to build the anti-immigrant wall?
They build it from the other side. From the Mexican side.
Who's going to paint our side? Then their side's going to be brightly painted.
Damn.
Mr. Bush, tear down that wall. How quick we went in before we became the evil empire. We went from a nation that believed in tearing down walls to a nation now that wants to build walls.
I thought we hated walls in this country.
Has a wall ever worked? Great China bankrupt themselves building that big stupid wall. It never worked out.
Never. The wall plan has no future to it. What you could do is build the wall, and then on the Mexican side, paint one of those fake Wile E. Coyote tunnels to make the immigrants think that they're getting through.
My problem is this. If you build that wall around the border of Mexico, all they're going to do is play handball on it and then fucking come in and work anyway. And you're just going to hear that constant thumping all down in Texas. It's going to drive people crazy.
The noise alone. Let them in just so it stops.
All right, Fez, I got an email that was sent to you and I yesterday. I wanted to kind of surprise you on the air with this.
An email? Now, what exactly goes on with the email?
Well, I'll know. Is your machine working?
No, my machine
Then
froze.
drop it. The email is just something you get through the computer, and we'll leave it at that. All right, do you remember Cave Dave and Cave Mom when we were in Florida?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got this. It's Cave Mom is looking for us. Cave Dave is in jail. He's been in jail for the last 3 years, Fez. And what she would like is for you and I to write a letter about what a great person that he is so he can get released from prison. I guess the judge is swayed by the fact that you and I were voted the 9th biggest shock jocks in radio today. So the fact is, they need some shock jock help. So would we be willing to write up a letter saying Cave Dave is doing okay? In the last 3 years he's been incarcerated. He hasn't been in any trouble. In fact, he went through college there and got a degree in maintenance.
Oh, all right. So things are happening that way, and yet he still needs a letter.
I didn't know there was a maintenance degree. I don't know what you would get that in, but he's picked one up. He's worked the whole time. I guess they got him on some work release, but he has to go home at night, back into jail and sleep. If they give him a chance, show them and let him out earlier than his sentence was. He was given 7 years for a nonviolent first-time crime. Now, when he was in trouble, when we knew him, he hit somebody over the head with a bottle, putting them in the hospital. He went to jail for that. So it can't be the same thing that he was in jail for when we knew him.
Yeah, or else that would be a second offense.
No, Fez, would you be willing to write something up and sign it?
Well, I'm just concerned about what he's in there for. I think I would need a few more details before I could feel actually good about writing up a letter.
I have no problem doing this, but I am an illegal immigrant, and I can't give away my real name. Obviously, Ron Bennington is his show business name. You can tell how fake it sounds. All right, we got Cave Mom on the line? Okay. All right, let's give her a listen. And maybe we can help out in some way here. Hey, Cave Mom, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Cave Mom?
All right, let me try her again. Hey, Cave Mom, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
It's been a long time. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
We're okay. Now, we didn't know Dave was back in jail. We thought he was in jail for a while and then was released once we got into New York.
Yes, he was out, but he did a bad thing, and he's in jail.
What did he do?
Well, he was transporting pot.
How much?
I don't know exactly, but it was a little over 200.
200 kilos?
200 pounds.
All right, 200 pounds. All right, I have never thought of smoking pot as a big deal, Fez, at least for me.
Well, I think it should be legalized because it's a weed that grows wild out in the woods.
It's the wildwood weed, Fez, as they used to say back in the day. All right, Fez, so you're trying to get him out. No, is it because he had trouble before? Is that why he was in for this, or was he on probation?
The plea agreement was for 3.5 years, so he agreed to it.
Right.
One of the adult probation officers went over to talk to him for about, maybe 12, 15 minutes. The adult probation officer told the judge that Dave did not have even an 8th grade education. and that he would more likely do it again if he was left out in 3.5 years.
Right.
So the judge gave him 7. Not 2 to 5, or how they do it. It's just plain 7 years.
Now, where was his lawyer during all this point?
Well, he was a bad lawyer. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
guess so.
He didn't do his job.
Was he a court-appointed lawyer, or did you guys hire him?
Well, we sort of hired him.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way,
So it was a difficult situation you found yourself in.
Yes, very. And his wife divorced him because she said 7 years was too long to wait.
Sure, I understand that.
Yeah, and but what we're trying to do is we've got we have a clemency package all done for him. We got a lawyer here to help us with it. And what we're trying to do is trying to find people that would write a letter trying to benefit him to see if he could get out earlier on an early release.
So what kind of stuff should Fez write in this letter?
I'm not sure I want to write it yet, Cave Mom.
Huh?
I'm not sure I want to write it yet, but go ahead.
I know, that's why I put it in the email, that if you didn't, I would understand. That's no problem.
He's nervous that they're going to come grab him later. Yeah.
Well, now, if you're a straight arrow, they wouldn't come and get you for anything.
Well, last thing, he is a straight.
Right.
Arrow.
No, it's just that what we're doing is trying to get people to write and say, how long they've known him, what kind of a person he was when they did know him, and stuff.
Maniac.
Yeah, maniac.
Well, the first time I ever met him, he was carrying a sign saying that he didn't like us because it was at a wrestling match, and I was the evil manager, and Fez was wrestling.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I need to include that.
Well,
first impressions are always, the strongest.
And now, is he in jail in Florida or in Arizona?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Arizona. I've been out to see him twice. His sister's been out to see him 3 times.
How's he doing?
He's got a great attitude, very great attitude. He's got all these plans about what he wants to do when he gets out. We have all of his stuff. We had all of his stuff shipped up here to Pennsylvania for him because his wife wanted it all out.
She turned out to be something, huh?
Oh, yeah. She didn't even go out. Well, she went out to see him once. I left him $1,000 in Florida for her in case he moved to Florida, because he had the option of trying to move back to state of Florida jail.
Mm-hmm.
She spent it all.
Sure.
She took all my money and she spent it, $1,000.
Not exactly Tammy Wynette standing by her man, huh?
Yeah, right. No way. No.
I bet if that weed deal would have went through, she'd have been happy.
Well.
All right. What about this? I'm going to write it for you, Fez.
Okay.
Fez, dear Judge, my name is Fez Whatley. I'm on the Ron and Fez show.
Right.
On XM Satellite Radio. Release Dave or I will rain hell down on you and the state of Arizona.
Okay, that sounds a little strong, and it's mentioned in my name and where I work.
Well, I didn't say the Todd part. I just said Fez.
Please don't.
I didn't AKA. You got an alias.
You're bad.
Yeah.
You're still as bad as you always were.
I know. We are bad people, but that's
not as bad as your son.
Yeah.
No, well, he's a good guy.
I think he's a good guy, too.
He's a good guy, but he just did something that he shouldn't have done, and he knows that he shouldn't have done it.
Fez, I can't stand the thought of anybody being in jail, especially for a little bit of weed. And I mean, it's really not that much. I mean, 200 pounds, how long did that even last you? That was for his own personal use.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
All right, so what should we say in the letter? You don't want to say rain hell down on you?
Well, you could.
Okay.
I mean, then you're talking Arizona. I mean, that's hot out there. You
I know.
A little bit more heat won't matter.
And how long should we say we know Cave Dave? Because, we haven't really been in touch with him for a long, long time. I mean, after he busted the homeless guy in the face with the bottle, we kind of lost contact.
Well, he spent a little bit of time in jail for that,
He
too,
did his time. You know what I mean, Fezzy? He did his time.
Well, he's been in for 3 years. He got 7, and we're trying to hope to get him out in another year.
I think 3 years is plenty.
Well, that's what the judge was supposed to do in the first place, but these judges, when they got deep pockets...
Let me tell you something right now. The judge in that town has bloodstain on his hands.
Well,
There was a judge in Georgia like that.
The hanging judge?
The night the lights went out in Georgia.
Yeah, the hanging judge.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to roll up a joint, pop it in a letter, and mail it out to the judge.
Hey, go for it.
Yeah. All right.
What's he going to do with this maintenance degree if he does get out, if he gets his clemency?
Maintain.
Well,
he can't.
He did maintenance work for a while. His stepdad did it, and he helped him out. So it just gets you in, like, to businesses and places where you've got a degree where you don't mix certain products with other products that'll make it blow up and go boom.
So he actually knows how to make crystal meth if he needs to right now.
Yeah, we had one blow up right down the street from where I live here.
Crystal meth lab?
Ago.
Yeah.
Should I put that down as a skill the judge would be interested in?
Oh, sure.
I've made angel dust and a bathtub in jail, so I know how to make it on the outside. All right, Kate, Mom.
Yes, dear.
Maybe if you would write it up and send it to Fez, and then we'll sign it.
Okay.
But you have to remember, here's what I worry about. We are known as shock jocks, and I don't know if I'd want us saying good things about even me.
Hey, look, I mean, you're good guys. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm just worried that
I even put something in my letter to the court about Ron and Fez.
What
wish you hadn't.
What did you put? He used to sell those guys?
I just put down that one time Dave and I had an argument and weren't talking, and Ron put a three-way call in because Dave called him up and he apologized to me over the radio.
That's
one
right.
time.
That was very nice. All right.
Maybe we got Dave and the judge on the phone.
I'm gonna have I'll have my producer contact you. Maybe instead of me and Fez signing it would be like an Earl Douglas thing. Earl Douglas producer. It'll sound even better.
A little more official.
Yeah, it'll sound good though.
I'll just put it on the letterhead.
Yeah, it'll be on the letterhead.
Yeah.
All right, Cave Mom. Best of luck to you, darling.
Okay, I appreciate it. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
We have Sirius Radio here, but my daughter can never find you. How?
Well, we're on XM.
Pardon?
We're on XM radio.
Oh, XM. Oh, I thought you were Cyrus.
No.
Oh.
Cyrus is the virus. That's what we like to say. All right, darling. Thank you very much.
All right. Love you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Cave Mom.
She's on Sirius. Go get Brewer to write a nice letter. Get Jeremy Coleman to get something out there.
I'm sure he'd write a reference.
Earl, wouldn't you rather write something nice since you know him better than me and Fez? Here, I have two problems. Number one, I can't stand the thought of anybody being in jail. Not for something for a little bit of pot. 200 pounds, a guy could have went through that in a weekend if he had a really huge bung. And number two, I don't like my fucking name to come up with any kind of thing like this.
I'm surprised they still arrest people for pot. It's almost like the unofficial legal drug in this country.
You think that until you get busted, and the fucking guy gets 7 years. 7 years.
They threw the max at him.
I don't even know if that is the max. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Ronnie Fezzy?
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, I wonder if does this guy have a minimum mandatory sentence?
7 years.
So he's got a minimum mandatory of 7 years.
Yeah.
Then he's not going to get out in less than 7 years, no matter how many letters you write. You can, the president could write him a letter, and he's not going to get out in anything less than 7 years.
All right, I'll do this. I'll sign it George Bush, and I bet I get the fucker out of there. Yeah.
All right, hey, hoo-ah.
All right, see you later, buddy. What I could do is say I need him out to do some CIA ops like Triple X. Don't act like I've never seen the Triple X things where you can do jail or you can go over and try to help the United States of America.
You know, he's in Arizona. Maybe go a state over, California, get the governor there to do some clemency thing like with Tukey.
Did he get Tukey out?
No, he wouldn't sign the Tukey one.
So
Tukey got put to death.
How are you helping, Fez? Maybe we'll have Blowhard. Tell Blowhard would he write something nice for a white man.
Oh, I know he'll do it in a heartbeat, too.
And then he goes, I am tired of you guys calling me racist. And normally, you know me, I'm on the Blowhard side. Oh, today was unbearable. He was just unbearable.
Well, he's not racist. He doesn't want Canadians here either.
And he doesn't want anybody else to talk.
No.
I always tell him, you gotta focus. You have to focus.
Has to be a dialogue.
So I just got an email from him.
All one-sided?
Every email is one-sided.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has to be.
Well, somebody sent you, like, a play. He says he wanted to apologize for yelling. He had a bad phone connection. He was insane today.
I don't know, it seems like that happens a lot with him. A lot of bad phone connections.
Nobody else. No one else ever has that problem.
Solera was fine.
Yeah, Solera was perfect. George, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, 2278.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, I got a Phillies game I want to go to on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if I can get Mr. Watley or yourself to help me. I need a doctor's note,
sure,
or a note from Shock Jock.
You know what I could do?
Get out of work.
I'll give you a Shock Jock note. I'll get you into the Phillies game and some Percocets. I'm not going to give you too many, just enough to get through and enjoy the game. And if you need anything else, you're going to have to come back in.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you later.
You got to come right back.
Here's Blood. Blood, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy boy.
The street value for 200 pounds of pot, at least in Manhattan, is over $1 million.
So what's the big deal? The point is this: it's just
quite a bit of change.
Pot is pot. Let's not make a big deal of it. All of us have fucking driven somewhere with 200 pounds of fucking pot in a goddamn U-Haul behind us. We've all been in that goddamn car. It's happened. Why you see any different?
If Cave Dave could have sold it, he could have afforded a better lawyer.
I got into a fucking limo once with Cubans. I had a gym bag full of fucking cash. I'm thinking to myself as I'm going down the road, is that the last tree I'm ever going to see? Is that the last dog my eyes ever see? But we get in, we get out, it goes smooth, and then what do? We take the next 6 months off. We live like Blowhard without a care in the world.
That's got to be nice. Feet up every day.
Yeah, you know what you're thinking to yourself? This fucking sniz is going fast before you know it. I'm going to be back in the same situation. But you got to stay moving, Fez, like a shark.
Yeah. I wonder how many people turned down Cave Mom before she finally got the Shock Jock on her list.
Just write something up. You're the college grad. All you can say is, this guy was a caller to our show. He sure seemed nice.
He sure seemed to know how to dial.
No, but you know what I'm saying. He was a very nice caller. He sometimes showed up some of our gigs.
And then we get thrown out because he get into a fight with the owner of the club or whatever.
Whatever. Those things happen.
So leave that part out.
Why should he do 7 years? He's a little stressed. So what? Obviously, he's not dangerous. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Pot's not pot, dude. You guys got to realize, dude, there's different kinds of weed. There's good weed and there's bad weed. Depends on what he got caught with, man.
Well, I don't think they're going to sit there and go, I smoked a joint of this. It's such ragweed that we're just going to let you go. Because really, you're harmless. You and your Mexican headache weed aren't a problem.
I don't know, pot, you shouldn't be able to get arrested for weed anyways, dude.
I agree 100%.
It's such a harmless drug.
I would not arrest anybody for any drug of any kind. If somebody wants to take drugs, go ahead and take it. What does it got to do with anyone else? What difference does that make? If somebody wants to sit there and drink whiskey all day, I don't care. Don't fucking get my face. You stay in your yard, I don't care what you're doing. Cave Dave wants to sit over there and do bong hits forever. Who cares? Why is it everybody else's business? I can't blowhard worry about this rather than the immigration thing.
I know Cave Dave wasn't hurting anyone because his aspiration was to become a wrestling referee, a pro wrestling referee.
And he was living it. He was living that dream. Jeff, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey boys, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, listen, I came in halfway through the conversation. She said he's in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
She happened to say he was in Maricopa County.
We didn't know what county it was, no.
Well, because I'm sure other people have seen it. Maricopa County is where that warden makes them all wear the pink jumpsuits and they do hard labor there. Nobody gets out on early release from there, period.
Yeah, he is doing some kind of labor work. And I also saw in that show that they'll sleep in tents, Fez, out in Arizona. Yep. There's no AC whatsoever. It's not an easy place to go. I don't know when anybody wants to go to a place that they know is going to be hardcore and then commit a crime.
Yeah, because that seems to borderline on the cruel and unusual. If you're sleeping in a hot tent, basically sleeping in a brick oven.
You think that's cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know of one jail that I've ever heard of that has AC. If you're in jail in Florida, you got your fucking nose up to the bars at night.
Yeah.
I don't know of any jail that has AC. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But not if you're doing real time. All right, we're going to take a break here. Be right back. Ron and Fez. and Fez show. Black girl, everything is all right. You know, I look over here, we're attempting to do a show here on satellite radio, and you try to have a professional show, and I look over and there's a hand puppet named Roberto just sitting in a chair because, like he's on the show. And Dave says to me, can he keep him in here? He can't trust Roberto around the other guys. What happened today, Dave?
I come in today and all happy and smiles. You know, I wanted to catch up on my baby.
All right, Fez, I want you to look. Roberto's jaw has fallen out. Fez explained it with that scream, but what just happened is Roberto's jaw has fallen out. What exactly happened, Dave?
When I came in this morning, I find Roberto in the bucket where I call it his bed.
Yeah.
I call it his Roberto bunk.
Yeah.
And his head had been ripped off. No head on Roberto. And, people might laugh and think that's funny.
The problem is you're the rookie. You are the rook around here. You're the first-year guy. You should be coming in with fresh donuts for everybody else every day as it is.
Well, the thing is, really, Roberto's the rookie. And that's the thing, is don't treat one of my guys like that. I put Roberto on the same scale as Bronx Johnny and all the rest of them.
Sure.
You got to keep his jaw in his face.
All right, who do you think did this?
Well, it's between, let's see, I know Bronx Johnny was handling him very, very roughly today.
Okay.
He's got those Bronx hands, Latino sausage fingers.
Did this happen over the weekend, or do you think this morning during the O&A show?
No, I can't decipher. I think it happened over the weekend, and dare I say, I know sometimes if we leave, and the interns, they may be here or something like that.
Jerking around? Blame one of them. If you had to say who you think it was.
Well, I know it's between Bronx Johnny, Lil Johnny, Bronx Johnny, Bill, and possibly even the Champ.
Here's the thing. The Champ has a reputation. Obviously, we all know how he got into Anthony's stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe in the back of the Champ's mind, he's pretending he's a fucking ventriloquist. He has your skills, and that's what went down.
Yeah, because I see the Champ looking at him.
Sure.
He, today, he combed his hair out of the blue.
You know what?
That's weird.
Here's what I'm worried about. There could be a little Champ belt on Roberto where he's being called Junior Champ.
Yeah.
All right, Champ, you already know you got the reputation for a guy who grabs other people's shit, right?
Well, he can't blame Bronx Johnny because if you blame minority, that could be a problem.
Right.
So he looks at me. Now, the head fell off of it, and I wasn't playing with it, but I put the head back on, and then he's yelling at me. He's like, it's broken. It's just broken. He's crying in the booth, and he's getting all mad and upset, and I'm like, no, I'll just fix it. It won't be a big deal. And now it's fixed.
First of all, when did you become Mr. Fix-It? There's something... It's not fixed. I saw the jaw hanging off. You made Fezzy scream and run down the street.
Well,
it's creepy looking.
It had no head on it, and now it has a head attached, fully attached.
A very guilty stroke by someone. Hey, Dave, let me just randomly fix the head, put the head back on.
Who's going to do such a thing? Now, you got to remember, when Dave started here, it was really bad for him. The reviews were horrible, and just recently, since he's out at Roberto, has there been a little sunshine out there? Earl checked around the boards. There was some nice stuff written about him on Whackbag, on ronfez.net. I would even go so far to say the Post Horse said a couple of nice things. But he's been a slow starter. He was in the shadow of a great man, Harry. So there's always going to be those kind of problems.
That's a big shadow. I know that.
So now that he's got a gimmick for himself, he's the man with the plan. It's Dave and Roberto. You can't be breaking that. That's like if somebody broke your belt. It's not going to be easy for him.
We're the A-team. We're Abbott and Costello. We're Laverne and Shirley.
Which are you?
Costello, probably.
And Laverne and Shirley?
I'd go more Laverne.
You're definitely Laverne.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Well, that's because his dad owns the pizza bowl.
I'm fucking starving. We get any pizza bowl pizza around here?
None.
I used to go out with the big ragu as well.
Oh. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, champ, why don't you go to your own show and get on there? Oh, that's right. You can't leave people's stuff alone. Man, I almost dislike you as much as Eastside Dave, you faggot.
All right, hold on. Bobby, are you, Bobby the Champ, are you banned from O&A now?
I was on O&A a couple weeks ago.
Weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
What were you doing?
I had the egg eating contest and I won.
All right, always a smart move if you're in trouble to eat large amounts of food.
And then,
that is a way out of anything, because a guy is impressed with that.
And then if you puke, it makes it, and I puked, and it made it all better.
Now, have you talked to Anthony since then? Since you, I heard you rub your balls and your ass on his property.
That's all alleged. I don't think I would do something like that.
You're molesting a megaphone.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I did a favor for him today. He needed me to mail something, and he didn't really make eye contact. He just said, random intern. And he just put his letter in the air, and I ran and I grabbed it.
Smart. That goes to show that you're ready. Your kid on the ball.
So yeah, I mailed the letter specifically. So I think we're moving, we're progressing, and I think we're gonna be friends. Soon,
you know what?
eventually.
I gotta learn from O&A, because I treat these fucking interns like they're humans, and it's just a waste of time.
Ron, why do you think I keep coming back? I keep just showing up because
for the love.
So nice to the intern. Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta change that about me. I'm just looking for anyone to talk to. So if I'm going to look around this goddamn room, if I see a maintenance guy, I'm going to pull him in and see if I can't get 10 minutes out of him.
You can always talk to Roberta, Mr. B.
Let me hear. Let's see if Roberta goes to it.
Hi, Mr. B. How was your weekend the other day?
You don't even have the voice down. It's so terrible.
Hi, Mr. B.
It's not the fucking voice.
It's like when you wake up in the morning, though, sometimes, and your voice is a little deeper. I have to get him going a little bit.
Roberto, are you okay? It sounds like someone pulled your head and jaw off.
I'm fine, Mr. B. But boy, do I sure have a headache.
That is not the voice that you did last week.
It's different every time, Roberto.
That's because I'm the chameleon of puppets. I can do them all. Rim shot.
Oh, that was a joke? See, just to let you know, a rim shot comes in on a punchline. Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Just going back to the tent in Arizona, I actually had to spend 32 days.
Now I got my own radio show, so
for a DUI. I know, but the most humiliating thing about it is this guy, Sheriff Joe. He makes you wear pink underwear, and then he gets you in, the old black and white pinstripe uniforms.
Yeah. Was this your first DWI?
Yeah, it was my first. It was an extreme. My first DWI. It was the first thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, you were real fucked up, huh? Did you run over somebody?
No, man. I was just driving. I was actually driving across the street. But listen to this.
Yeah.
And then during the day when you're at the tent, you got to go work on a chain gang. He parades you in front of like you'll go to the DMV and clean up the DMV or something like that.
Right.
So in public, he's got you out there in his fucking uniform, and you got pink sandals on, and you chain to everybody else looking like an asshole, and then you got to go home and sleep in a fucking 200-degree tent, like army cot tent. It's ridiculous.
Even if I was only doing 32 days, I'd still make them take my shoelaces because I might end up killing myself. Seriously.
Well, they don't give you shoelaces.
Yeah, I can't sleep in a tent for 32 days in the desert.
And it's just impossible to pretend you're camping.
It was the worst 32 days of my life, and also it's all drunks too. It's not, you're not in there with
hardcore people, right? Yeah,
the drunk tent.
Yeah, so it's not like a guy who's having a drink really needs to be punished and shamed and humiliated. You're not doing the right thing.
I saw a couple hot chicks I went to high school with too while I was doing it, so that was real awkward.
Yeah.
All right, see you, boys.
Terrible. Yeah, I mean, one of the things, unless you come out of high school and you're a rock star, you never want to see those girls again. You're better off with, you don't want to be fucking have a Radio Shack, my name is fucking Roberto tag on when one of those broads comes walking in looking like $1 million.
Never have to worry about it. Went to all-male high school, Mr. B.
Yeah, but you still got laid a lot there, and that's still got to be uncomfortable for you.
Prom night when you gave it up.
I went to prom with girls, by the way.
By girls, it means no dick. Yeah. Not long hair, but no penis.
Chicks, vaginas. Not calling them people with vaginas.
Oh, I thought that you called all women vaginas.
No, I don't do that.
I took a vagina out the other night, if you know what I'm saying. Rob, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I want to hear Roberto's opinion on immigration. It's probably better than Blowhard, since he's Latino.
All right, go ahead, Roberto. What do you have to say about it?
Don't let them in. They don't clean themselves too well.
Roberto, that's terrible. See that? We have a back and forth.
Yeah, so you're the straight man. You're Dickie Smothers.
I tried to keep the common sense logic in there.
Yeah, I know. All right, so as Jimmy would say, you're the whole. In the team, you're playing the part of the whole.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Here's Will. Will, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
I'm much like you. I detest the heat, right?
Yeah, I can't
If I
stand
get
it.
myself in trouble in Florida, I go to jail. I realize there's no air conditioning. So I pick a fight with the nearest urban professional next to me, wind up having my jaw broken, and spend all my time in jail with the air conditioning.
So you felt like it was a smart idea to get your jaw broken just so you could lay there suffering with that in nice cool weather.
Right, except every time I smile and feel my jaw when it gets cold.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Now, Fez, you know how they tell you, like, when you go to jail, you should pick out the biggest guy and just smash him and get a reputation?
Right.
I ended up taking my crucifix, having it sharpened down into his shank. First day I walk in there, just jab right in the jugular vein of this, and it wasn't even jail, it was detention. And I just jab it in this fucking 9th grade girl's neck. And I go, this is the way it's going to go here for the next 32 minutes. Basically, it was, I think I was like in 12th grade, and I had missed class so many days I had to stay after. But get it out of the way, guys. I can't express that enough.
That might have been a little bit of overkill for detention. Because it's just like about a half hour.
So you're going to sit in judgment of everybody?
Well,
you've never done it, Fez. You don't know what it's like in there. Roberta, what do you think?
I hate detention. It's long and boring, and they don't have puppet books to read, too.
His jaw doesn't even move anymore. It's just really bad.
That other caller was saying he doesn't like the heat, Mr. B.
Yeah.
I hate the heat so much, I won't even watch Miami Heat basketball.
Here's Roberto Sr. Roberto Sr., you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, Roberto. Mr. Roberto. Mr. R, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, when you taste wood varnish on your girlfriend's breath, that's my genitals.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roberto.
Papa, don't hang up.
Please, Roberto. This is not your show. It's the Ron and Fez program.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for trying to restore some order.
So you have to keep him in line no matter what he's saying.
He's a bad boy. He doesn't listen to me, and sometimes his head plops off.
Tim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, Eastside, you better watch out, because Otto and George are going to come in and just beat the hell out of you and Roberto. I have this awful feeling.
You know, I noticed that so many people around this show have been lifting stuff from other shows. You got the Otto and George act, and then you've got the Jason Garfield act that Mikey D. Remember when we were making fun of Jason Garfield, the juggler?
President of the Juggling Federation.
Somebody had sent me some email of this guy juggling. There was a tape on there. He's fucking unbelievable. He may be the greatest juggler known to man.
I gotta check this out because on the Garfield site, it's Jason Garfield.
But what?
All he talks about is the stuff he won't juggle.
Oh, you got to see the guy juggle. He's absolutely phenomenal. And if he wasn't, I'd be making fun of him with everybody else. I'd be part of let's make fun of the juggler act. The guy was unbelievable.
His fuck you is pretty confusing because he's like, I think he's trying to be tongue-in-cheek. Like,
he is.
I won't juggle fire, but I'll juggle torches lit on fire.
All right, go right to Mikey Boy and ask if he'll give you this thing of this guy. He was juggling 5 balls to the song Golden Slumbers. It went on forever. And I got news for you. It was fucking phenomenal. Again, I'd be the first to make fun of it. If there was any opportunity, I'd be on it. Hey, Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
It's that kind of day today, bro.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah.
The best way to find out who actually killed or hurt Roberto
is
leave him in the corner at night, and whoever winds up dead with little stab wounds, Roberto killed him.
What, do you really feel like it was the champ, Bobby the Champ?
It's between Champ and Bronx Johnny.
Bronx Johnny's got a heart of gold. Bobby the Champ is an evil, evil person who's been caught rubbing his anus and his balls all over other people's property already.
Love Bronx Johnny, except for one thing that he confessed. I hate puppets. He confessed this on Friday. Oh, what timing. Then on the following Monday, Roberto's head's been ripped off.
You're getting a little paranoid, aren't you?
A tad bit.
You want me to bring a lie detector test in here? First of all, your act is destroyed. The puppet's jaw doesn't move anymore, and yours does.
He's a mess.
Yeah. It's really a bad act. It's not going to work out for you.
I disagree.
Who was that? Is that a whole new voice? Is that a new character you're doing it? Because that's not Roberto's voice, just so you know.
Don't interrupt him again.
Whoops, French fries are done.
Starving.
I really might walk across the street today. It's fucking starving. Starving around here. Have you been following the Page 6 scandal in New York, Fez?
I've been trying to follow this one because it seems to be getting bigger by the day.
Here's what the dealio is. Page 6 is, in the New York Post, is the gossip column. And basically, if you read the New York Post, it's either for sports or for Page 6. It's not an expensive buy, but Page 6 has the sightings, the celebrity sightings. They'll do the outings of who's gay and who's fucking around on their wife, and it's all good, fun gossip. Well, apparently these guys have been taking money from people to only write about them in good ways. This has come out first. There was a billionaire that was going through a divorce, and there was a lot of bad shit about him. He wanted to get together to say, how much money is it going to cost to make sure these articles go in the right way? Now, allegedly, none of the guys at 6 are guilty until found guilty. There is a price. You can come up with it for a couple of $100,000, which if you're a rich guy is not a lot of money to be moved around. Now, I always notice Donald Trump seems to be treated pretty well in there, too. Richard Johnson, who was a friend of Stern's for years, and Stern's always been treated very well by by Page 6. He also, they had him lined up, a party was thrown for him, $50,000 party, like Johnny Sack's wedding, by the wild guy. What are those called? Girls Gone Wild guy. So apparently, Fez, there is a way, in the gossip way, of taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and you mentioned Donald Trump. If you watch any of the Trump stuff, they will mention things like when Trump has his new water out or something like that, or, any sort of Trump product, or congratulations when the baby, Barron, was born.
So you're thinking maybe Trump is part of this, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking that this goes beyond this one billionaire that actually got the gossip reporter on tape.
Well, it looks like you're going to try to pull Richard Johnson down into this. And he is the big guy. He is the top of this whole thing. Now, he didn't start it. Page 6 has been around a long time. How long, about 30 years, Earl?
Easily, yeah. It's been around forever.
And sometimes they just pick people out and just pound them, right, for years going by, right?
Oh, they'll zero in on somebody and just be relentless if they really have an axe to grind. Like, even with Clinton, they still pick on Clinton.
Still bash Clinton pretty good.
Who's Richard Johnson? Is he?
He's kind of the top cat over there. He is the editor of Page
New York
6.
Post?
No,
Okay.
just Page 6.
Oh, just Page 6.
But
okay.
really, if you're going to say New York Post, like, you'd be better off being on Page 6 than you would having an article written about you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because so many people will just go to Page 6, read it, check the back to see what the sports story is, and then chuck the Post at that point.
So now the latest updates are that they've got the emails. They were published in the rival paper, the Daily News.
The Daily News is the one going after him. This would not even be a story, except for it's like a shock jock war between newspapers. Now, before, there's been times that the Post is going after the Daily News. So, like Tony was saying on The Sopranos last night, you show a little weakness, you show you're not the alpha male, everybody will dive on you. And this is what's happening with Page 6.
Yeah, I think this one is going to get bigger and bigger. The emails that were run today in the Daily News were from this particular reporter, Jared Paul Stern.
He's the one who brought all the pain down.
Yeah, and the emails are, as you read them through the timeline, hey, we have to move on this quick. Where the hell's the money? That sort of thing.
So this is
like very incriminating stuff, even though he's now saying he was set up.
So this is like newspaper payola. It's the same thing. Okay.
And, PR people have been accused of that for years. Where, let's suppose you got a movie coming out. People in the old days, they would try to buy some good reviews. They would try to buy good publicity. And some of the stuff isn't payola, but, hey, if you don't bring up that Rock Hudson is gay, we'll tell you that Tony Curtis was busted for pot. So it's always been on the very outskirts, the gossip stuff, very outskirts of journalism. But it's kind of a fun story to follow along with. There's no doubt about it.
Well, let's see. From the Daily News, that's Rush and Malloy, right? So they're going to probably hammer. Rush and Malloy are going to be all over this.
Right, but it's even on the front page of the Daily News.
Oh, it is?
Every single day. Yeah, it's, well, look, here's the Daily News from the other day, and there's the picture of the guy from the Washington Post, the Stern guy.
Yeah, I think his picture's been making the cover in some form for 4 days in a row now.
And I doubt pretty much that if you are a writer for these guys, that you've ever bought a drink or a meal in this town. Mm-hmm. Because they are the shit. They're the big deal. You want your restaurant mentioned. You want your nightclub. A lot of people that call Page 6 with the celebrity sightings are the guys who own the nightclubs. And they'll be like, oh, the Hilton sisters were down here, and they got in a screaming match with Lindsay Lohan, and it all took place at, whatever bar. And it's good news for everybody. Hey, we were talking about The Sopranos last night. Vito, playing the part of Leather Daddy, had to be the most bizarre picture ever.
It looked so weird with Vito in the leather club and wearing this tiny leather hat that just did not fit his big round head.
Well, that's the way they wear them for some reason in that gay subculture. It's the extra tiny little hat. I thought when I saw it was Don Vito from Bam Margera's uncle. And I'm like, what the fuck is Don Vito doing on this show?
What's a guy got to do to get you to buy him a drink? You just did.
I mean, have there been clubs like that since the late 70s anyway? Like actual gay biker shit like that?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
What? No, they're all over. Leather bars?
Like those type of bars.
Yes.
That's only in the movies, no?
Earl, take him down to the East Village. Just walk through the East Village. You don't even have to go through the bars, and you see guys dressed like that all the time.
Well,
that's just as popular as ever, right, Earl?
Yeah, I mean,
in your subculture.
Not in my subculture, but yeah, they're all over.
Subconscious.
They're all over the place, especially on the west.
You're going to go to one.
I am not going to one.
More in the West Village now?
Yeah, like right off the West Side Highway. That's pretty much where all the action is taking place now.
Why do you think they call it the Meatpacking District?
Just a whole bar of Freddie Mercury type guys.
Yes, Freddie Mercury is still the look. Big hairy chest, big hairy stash. You're on your way to a party night.
I just don't... well, all right.
And nothing but leather.
You and Roberto are going to go down there and do an investigative report for us. What'd you think of the show last night, Fezzy?
I thought it was a great show last night.
When Johnny Sachs's fat wife passed out and nobody caught her, she just fucking banged head first down. Everybody there was to catch Tony when he was fainting, but Johnny Sachs's wife passes out, and that's the end of her. Vito dead, or is he alive, Fez?
Vito is dead.
I don't think they are going to do back-to-back suicides. If we didn't have the other suicide earlier this year, I'm like, yeah, but you need somebody being clipped.
Plus, if you watched coming up next week, which I always do on next week, the last scene that they had was Christopher goes to Tony, he's like, guess what? You'll never believe this shit. So I think that's going to be Christopher saying, guess what? You'll never believe this shit. Vito's like, a fagola and shit like that.
A what?
Fagola?
I see. So it's...
I think I combined it with payola.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with this. But, to really be based on the real story, he has to be clipped. For his own shame, then you can't blame the guys. But for the guys to be so, homophobic that they kill somebody, that would be the bad thing. Hey, John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddies, I remember that Swiss Miss mentioned she's going to be an episode. Was that the episode?
No, she hasn't shown up yet. Whenever you see Tony getting a private dance, that's going to be from Swiss Miss. But I was looking at the Bada Bing Girls last night to see if it was her. I couldn't come up with anything. Hey, Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey,
Buddy.
Joe. Go ahead, buddy.
Myself a nice Italian stromboli right here.
Fucking starving, man. Don't start on me. Seriously.
Best leather club of all time, the Blue Oyster from Police Academy.
Thank you very much. The best anything for Police Academy is beyond me. Hey, Barry, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, what's up? 2545 checking in.
Way to go at school.
Hoo-ah! Yeah, I got a nice little bar for Dave to go to once in a while. You can go to this place called Eagles on West 27th.
I write that down.
I love it.
Eagles. Oh, I got a business card. I don't have to write it.
Let me tell you something. And I know this for a fact. Go to any Eagles bar, those fucking Eagles sports bar, and you're going to see guys that look like that. That's what guys from Philly look like.
I'll check it out.
Aaron, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Listen, I just want to talk about the whole Sopranos thing with the coming attractions and Christopher saying you're not going to believe this. I mean, I've heard him say that before in coming attractions, and it's usually the most trivial bullshit thing, like he ordered spaghetti and they gave him ziti. I mean,
I try not to watch the coming attractions. I don't want
Me neither.
I don't want anything ruined. I'm going to be watching anyway. It's not like I wonder if I'm going to watch next week. I want to be surprised.
I get too curious. I have to watch it, and yeah, Aaron's right. It's never the big thing that you think it is.
Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Body boy.
In the coming attractions, they actually show Paulie and Tony arguing, and Tony says, are you going to feed his kids when he's gone? I think they were talking about Vito and clipping him.
I'm not sure if it had to... You know what? But that fucking Paulie would be the one who does it, too.
Paulie wouldn't mind doing it.
Although, you ever see Paulie with a woman? You ever see him? He's the only guy that doesn't seem like he's got that... family life going on.
He used to be with Gumaz, like in seasons 1, 2, but Paulie really slowed down with the chicks lately. You know who I love is that little midget character they always refer to as the
Roberto?
midget. No, Rusty.
Frankie Valli.
Is that Frankie Valli for real?
Yeah.
Rusty is Frankie Valli?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy mackerel! He looks so much
Watch
different.
your language. I know we're on satellite, but you don't have to start talking with a potty mouth.
All right.
He looks much different than what? 1963 when he had his last hit? Is that what you're shocked about?
I don't know. I saw a Gidget the other day.
What do you want him singing? He was never there. That's Frankie Avalon, you moron.
Oh, okay. I thought they both had black hair and kind of looked alike. I don't know.
I do like that Paulie has crossed out mother on his tattoo, though.
Here's Chris. You're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
You know you need unique New York.
Way to go, pal.
I want to ask Fez a question about Sopranos last night.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Fez, that guy, Muscles Marinara, did you want to, like, rub sauce over him in that bar with Vito and, take him for a ride?
No, I did not.
All right, here is Keith. Keith, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
They did the same thing last week with the coming attractions, because last week, right after Tony was out of the hospital, you hear all the guys talking, hey, if he's this week, imagine what else we could make him do. And it made it look in the coming attractions like they were talking about Tony being weak, and
Right.
when they actually get to the episode, they were talking about Johnny Sack.
Right, I know. They fuck with you with that, and they have every right to. That's what they should do. Anyone who watches the coming attractions, because they don't know whether they're going to watch next week or not, I don't get it. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stupid. Plus, I thought...
No, you're not.
I tend
Slow.
And I tend to also formulate my own plots, like I guess we all do, and I thought this whole episode was just going to be Tony kicking ass.
Just going to be about one puppet over another? Well, he
Kicking
did
puppet ass.
He did kick some ass at the end of the thing.
But they made it look like he was going to be fighting for like an entire episode, just absolutely destroying people.
What episode is he going to fight from one way to the other? It's not wrestling.
I thought it was
war.
I've never beaten someone to death with a cowbell, but here's what I want to say to the champ. You leave Roberto alone, and I come in here tomorrow and I want Dave's head off. I want you to yank Dave's head off and leave it there the other day. You ever watch Big Love on After It, Fez?
I checked out part of the first episode, but I haven't checked it out ever since then.
I am never in the mood to watch anything. I never even used to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm after Sopranos. I feel like I have a big meal, and then I feel like someone's trying to give me a half a sandwich or something. I'm like, no, I want to sit around and still think about Sopranos after.
You didn't watch Deadwood?
No, I never watched Deadwood at all. I gave that a try, but
fuck.
But don't take it so hard. It's just a TV show.
I tried like 4 times to watch Deadwood.
What?
I've actually stayed with Big Love. It's like every other HBO show. It takes a couple of episodes to really get into it, and
Yeah.
now it's starting to really
I have
take
more
off.
and more people talking to me about it, but I got to catch it on a different time. I can't watch it. I can't watch anything. If the Goodfellas was coming on after The Sopranos, I'm like, I can't watch it right now. I'm still trying to work out The Sopranos in my head.
Harry Dean Stanton on the show is so amazing on the show. He's so creepy on
Harry
the show.
Dean Stanton, is that the comic that used to do the joke about pants?
No.
Because if it was about giving up on pants.
That's Harry Tarjanian.
Oh, anyway, that bit's great.
See, the thing about pants is
Go ahead, Roberto.
If you're skinny, you can wear them.
What, pants?
Yeah. And if you're fat, you better not wear them because they don't look too good. Or something. I forget how the fucking joke goes.
Wow. Here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
What you call it? If you guys scroll a week into advance, you can see the little 2-sentence synopsis of what the show's about. We tell you twice as much of what the previews tell you.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't need to know what's coming on in the future. I don't understand. I don't understand anybody who does. I want a chef's menu here. You bring me the food, I'll eat it.
I would never watch like a preview for Star Wars or any mystery movies. I don't know why. I jib myself out of Sopranos, but I have to know. I guess it's because I'm more addicted to Sopranos than even Star Wars.
Are you a racist that you're going to sit here and make disparaging remarks about gypsies?
I apologize.
When you say I gyp myself, that's attacking traveling people who steal chickens.
On behalf of, my family values, I apologize to all gypsies out there.
Finally got that out. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you think that whole thing with Tony whooping on his bodyguard was staged so he could, after seeing Dr. Melfi, I think next week he's going to end up giving his bodyguard a stack of cash and saying, thanks for letting me pound on you.
You live in a dream world?
No.
Seriously, do you watch the show at all? Because you'd have to be in a dream world to think that was staged. You see him looking all around. He's trying to figure out which guy to attack. He attacks what we were talking about, the prison. You go after the big guy that's going to impress everybody else.
He needs to pick out a better bodyguard because he took him down like he was a Girl Scout.
What do you think, Tony's a fucking pussy? And in the back of his mind, you think this guy wants to beat Tony in a fight? Because that would be a death fucking sentence.
And the man shot his own
The
cousin.
first time he swung on Tony, he was going to get clipped.
Chris, you live in a dream world. You know what? Pull your cable out. Tony sounds like a girl talking about it.
I mean, Tony shot his own cousin. He slaps his kids around. He's a lunatic.
He never slapped his kids around. Where's that come from?
Well, actually, AJ. Remember, he
never did that.
He manhandled AJ a couple
that's
of times.
much difference. There's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
I'm sorry. That manhandled.
And the guy wasn't hired really didn't come in as a bodyguard. He was the driver because Tony can't drive since getting out of the hospital.
He was a driver/bodyguard. Bodyguard is not the wrong word to use there. I mean, all those guys are basically bodyguards. But let's face it, Tony fucking hits you first, you're in a little bit of fucking trouble.
It's just like the whole excuse that Tony always has to come up with.
Yeah.
So you slammed the refrigerator too hard? What was that all about? He always comes
Here's
up with
what
the
you gotta
worst
remember.
things.
Tony's fucking psychotic. That everyone sits and they're like, oh, you know who I like? Paulie. Last year, Paulie fucking suffocated an old Italian woman under a pillow over a few bucks. These people are out of their minds. They're out of their goddamn minds.
They're vicious.
Yes. Vicious. Thanks for backing me up there, Roberto. Darren, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Darren.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with Eastside. Deadwood's a pretty good show. But, Ron, did you ever watch Oz after The Sopranos? And what about The Wire? Is that even
I
still
can't
on?
watch a show right after The Sopranos. It's no offense to that show.
TiVo back then.
I will try to catch it on tape delay later. But I don't want another meal after my entree.
Well, as you go into the weekend, Sopranos, Sunday night, 9 o'clock. And everything else is the build-up to that great thing at the end of the weekend.
See, the one thing that when Deadwood came on, I think it came in season 4, the premiere of Deadwood, and it was, I think, better than season 4 is the weak Sopranos year. It will always be. Everyone knows season 4 sucks.
All right, I know you always tell me how good Deadwood is. How come it didn't get picked up? Why is it gone?
No, it got season 2, and it's going to be back next time, I think.
I thought it was done.
You're thinking Carnival. That was canceled.
Yeah, Carnival got dropped.
People try to bring that up to me, too.
That was a brilliant show.
Now, Earl just likes everything.
Every show is brilliant.
Yeah.
I know. To you, Earl, you're like, oh, Mama's Family. Oh, my God, is that brilliant. Everything is a Godfather to you, Earl.
What was so brilliant about Carnival?
By the way, this was one of the funnier lines last night, too. When he calls Godfather just one. Remember in one? Where you can't... So it's true, then. Like in the movie? Like in one?
No, it's a reverse to that. Oh, so then you should ask them not to have you whack the guy.
Yeah. Hey, John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on? Fez, I'm not sure. Tell me if I'm pretty sure that was you. Did I see you in that club dancing with leather on behind Vito?
It's not me, but I was talking with Swiss Miss to see if there's going to be Bada Bing Boys.
Where is Swissy? I'd like to talk to her about what episode. We got to be almost halfway through the season, right? These seasons only last like 12 episodes.
Yeah, yep, this one's 12, and then even though they consider it another, the same season, there's 8 more next year to make one big, long season.
How is it considered the same season?
That's what David Chase calls it, the last season, even though there's going to be 8 of these playing next year.
All right, Fezzy, suppose somebody come in here and they start calling this cowbell a birdie. Would you even think it was a bird?
Never.
Then you got to do the same thing with David Chase. Next year is next season. We're not going to fall into your type of madness. All right, that is it for us, folks. We're back in here tomorrow, right after the fabulous Opie and Anthony show. Take care, everybody.
The Ron and Fez Show. XM 202.